Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Magnificent. Do I have a great episode for you today? I have a dear friend of mine. Actually, I have two, and one happens to be a very interesting individual, someone who has a lot of knowledge on outdoors and has a lot of interesting stories. She's given me a full list, and we're going to get into it. But in the Magnificent Studios today, we have Haylee Cote and Reanna. What is your last name?
Frawley.
Frawley. Now, I keep wanting to say your maiden name.
I was gonna be like Keller.
It's Keller.
What?
But it's so funny because it's been what, a year now since you've been married?
Almost 2.
Yeah, it's
Almost
been
2.
longer.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I feel like it's because like you just came into town to where it's now like, okay. I keep
now
forgetting.
your brain's active again.
Yeah, my brain is active. It's like because in my phone,
It takes like a long pause while I'm gone.
like literally, yeah. No, because it's funny because I still have your maiden name in my phone. So, but yeah, Reanna Frawley is here, and we're happy that you're here with us. Haylee texted me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, like, just found out that Rihanna's in town." I was like, "Awesome, bring her by."
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, hi.
You.
because Thomas
Thanks.
has came down with a little bug or something like that. Like, what's up with that?
He's just tired. He's overworked.
Makes sense. I mean, it's Friday, so it
Mhm.
totally makes sense. So, but before we get into the questions and all that fun stuff, we're gonna do the dad joke of the episode. So it is the dad joke of the episode. I figure we're not gonna do the echo anymore because I don't know. I just got annoyed with it. I used to do an echo.
But how's it go?
Okay, I'm gonna do the echo.
Okay.
It's time for the dad joke of the episode.
Okay, it goes on a little bit too long, but it's not bad.
Yeah, hence why I got annoyed with it. I'm like, I can just do it with my own voice.
True.
So, alrighty, hold on one second. Let me find it. Okay, do trees poop?
Not that I know of, but I know that they can hold roots underneath the ground and they like connect with each other. So like if a baby tree is like struggling, that adult tree can like help it out. And sometimes trees will kill themselves, like sacrifice themselves to help that other tree survive. And actually trees like being like all together, like close together, the trees that you see in like parking lots and stuff.
Oh yeah,
They're depressed as shit. Because they're by themselves, they have no connection to other trees, and then like most of the roots need to be like on top of the ground. It doesn't go as deep as you would think, so they get stepped on a lot, and they don't have like the proper access to water because the cement is in the way.
Well, I was gonna say, of course they do. How do you get number 2 pencils?
Really, Matt? I'm like over here like
Alrighty, so Haylee, but we're so glad that you knocked it off right out of the bat and went full on like, oh yeah, like I don't think they poop, but they do this.
They're
this, this.
definitely
I
depressed.
forgot
I-
we were,
yeah, they're definitely.
honestly,
Yeah.
I zoned out. I forgot we were supposed to be doing a joke. I was like, "What? No,
It was
what?"
the answer was supposed to be yes or no, but you went full on detail with it. I was like, and I'm like, where do I go from here? She's like going in full explanation. I'm like, where do I go from here? All right, yeah, they do. So,
Anyways.
anyways, so as now I'm reading here on your list of topics you wanted me to ask you about. So, like, what's up with your weird obsession with puddles?
I don't know. They're just so fascinating. Like you see one and you just like, you want to touch it. Like you want to put your feet in them, especially like if it's on a warm summer day and then splashing in them too. I don't know.
I always liked how the rain looks when it's hitting a puddle. Like the
Oh,
way
yeah,
that it
I've always
splashed
liked
is
that.
off the
Exactly.
puddle.
Yeah.
hmm But I don't know. Just putting like your feet in them or like just in general in water. Super relaxing. So whenever I go on a walk, I usually walk barefoot because I'm grounding. See a motherfucking puddle, jump right in.
And so that was how it was when you were a kid, and then it just grew into adulthood.
She's
Might
like, I
have-
never said anything about when I was a kid.
I don't even remember puddles from childhood, so might
Exactly. She's like, that actually.
So
I
like it
was
might
an
have just
adult and
like
did
been an
that.
adulthood thing.
Okay. Now, so like I remember you telling me one time about like with the grounding and stuff like that, and like walking on rocks and dirt and everything barefoot.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me a little bit more now that we're live recording and everything like that on the show? Like what
So you
would
can look back and remember next time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Like can you explain to me again like what you meant about like why you walk on the ground barefoot?
Yeah. Okay. So the Earth, it has its own energy magnetic field. We also have ours. So putting ours together like recharges our bodies. And then like for the rocks especially, it's like acupuncture for the feet. Every specific part on your foot has like an acupuncture that like leads to the liver or the heart. So it's good to get like your blood flowing.
So really it's just like a connection that goes through from
It's
the
like, yeah, it's
like
like
the
a way to
ground energy.
recharge.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
And like you were saying like again with the trees and everything like how do you feel about like people saying like oh we need electric cars and like knowing that the CO2 like the plants soak up the CO2 and then produce oxygen and like what's your opinion on that?
No opinion on that. Don't know shit about that. Um, but anyways, grounding can help you with inflammation and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, interesting fact. But no, I don't really know too much about like electric cars and all that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was gonna say like if you know like definitely a lot of things about like the trees and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I've just had different conversations with
Yeah.
people on how they're trying to make electric cars, but in the end, like the CO2 that comes out of the cars today can go into the atmosphere, but not only that, but go into the trees and then help produce oxygen, which helps us out. So
That'd be cool.
yeah.
I mean, from if I have this correct, from what I found out when I was taking a class in college, is that trees only absorb like so much, CO2, and then when they're like cut down or like dead, they just release it all back.
Huh.
So no matter how many trees we have, like we're never gonna fully catch up.
Huh. That is interesting.
Yeah.
So, as of recent, you've collected a lot of creepy crawly kind of friends, new friends of yours.
Yeah. So I was bringing in my outside plants because it's getting cold out. And then I was doing some laundry and I just felt a little tickle on my thigh. And I went and I smacked the shit out of it because I thought it was like a mosquito.
Yeah.
And I looked down and it was like a little slug. And I was
Did you
like,
hurt him?
I hope not. But I was like, oh my God, I'm like, little slug. And then so I went upstairs. I bit into this apple so I could feed it. And then I was like, damn, this apple's really good.
Did you eat the whole apple, Haley?
Almost, because like it was
You forgot that you were feeding the slug said apple?
I saved him some, okay? But like my
Top of
coworker,
the food chain.
yeah, my coworker gave me that apple and I was like, it's a really weird looking apple because it's not like grocery store apple. It's not the apple you're used to. It's kind of weird looking. But then it was
Did you
really
get it
good.
from like a garden?
No,
or?
my coworker.
Or
She brought it in from her
you're-
tree.
Oh, okay.
Did she plant the tree herself or was it already there?
No clue.
She may have
They
gone
might have-
apple picking.
No, it was on her property.
Hmm.
She gets like a bunch of them. So yeah, but the apple was so good that like I ate most of it, but then I saved him some, and then I was like, you know what? Like I've always been wanting to like have like a bug like exhibit,
That's so cool.
Like I watched this one guy, he makes like videos and he puts like a little cucumber in his like terrarium and then all the little bugs come out and they snack on it. And it's just like so cute.
That guy's on TikTok, right?
I think so.
I think I've seen him on there too.
Yeah, I love him. And
do you
so
do you know what his tag is?
No.
I can't remember.
We'll maybe find it later.
Probably look up something like bug guy.
Why are you putting your hands all over my cap?
She's like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
So anyways, so then I went outside, got the slug's whole family. It was like 9 p.m. I'm just like, I need to do this like right now. Like,
Is
this
that the
has
video
to be
that you sent
done.
me where you're like going through the rocks with your bare hands?
Oh no, that was like the other day. There was like too many rocks in my garden, and then like I was just like, these need to go. So like right before our plans to go over and celebrate Thomas's dad's birthday,
Right.
I was just like shoveling up these little pebbles, spoonful by spoonful, because I was like, I'll get them all eventually.
Yeah.
So that was just my head start on that.
So let me ask you this: the whole love of like nature and animals, and I mean, you don't like mosquitoes,
No,
which is hilarious because you
why is
really
that hilarious?
They serve no purpose.
Yeah, they don't.
Like, what good do
yeah,
they
okay,
do?
that's
Like-
a good point.
They do get eaten by other things,
Yeah,
but like they're not needed.
It's not their only source
That
of
is
like
true.
food.
that is true. Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't get
Bless you.
mosquitoes. That was a good one.
Mm.
That was a really good one. So like, when did this whole stuff start? Because like, it kind of just happened. I feel like because I've known you for years, and I don't know. It just seems like as of recent, like just it happened.
Yeah, I think you're kind of just like born with it. But then like at the same time, like looking back, I really like loved climbing trees. But then also like my what is it, like epiphany?
Yeah.
Or like yeah. So we were walking from building to building from my old school, and then there was like this worm on the ground, and this kid just stomped on it and squished it. And for like some reason, like I was enraged. I was
What school?
pissed off. Here on Academy.
So is elementary
I
school?
believe it was. Because I went to 2 elementary schools.
Harvey
Mhm.
was one of them. What? Right?
I don't remember.
Jack Harvey
Yeah.
was one of them.
But it was here on Academy first. And then Jack Harvey, I think. But yeah, that just really like enraged me and like pissed me off.
Uh-huh.
But then like also like a good influence was like my friend Skylar, because like during lunch during recess she was like, hey, do you want to go and pick up some like trash off the playground? And I was like, sure, like a weird thing to do, but I'll try it.
I like it.
Yeah, but I'll try it. And then I think it was like the janitor or maybe one of the teachers like saw us doing it, and then like they rewarded us. They said like you can pick anything like from the little snack thing in the lunchroom. And then I picked out a pickle, like one of those big ones.
Oh yeah, like the ones that they sell at Jimmy John's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like at the Renaissance Festival.
Haley's got a thing for pickles.
I loved them back then, and I still do.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But now I feel like I like more of the spears.
the spears are good.
The spheres are just them cut.
Yeah,
It's the same.
it's
it
the big.
tastes
It's the big.
different.
I mean,
I
because you get
disagree.
more juice.
It tastes
from
like
it.
a pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get more juice from it.
There's more like contact with
Yeah.
the inside.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really. I mean, I like.
Contact's
What is it?
important.
I like. I definitely love the sweet pickles. Like I could eat them.
Ew.
No, like I love those.
You don't like sweet pickles at all?
No.
Oh my
Not
God.
even like a little bit.
She likes the sour part of it. She likes the sour.
I only like that
pickles.
one pickle.
I
and that's it.
appreciate all pickles.
Yeah. Pickles' lives matter too.
Do they?
I guess so. I don't know.
Um,
So
Yeah, and then my brother, when we were little,
yeah.
he got a whole cup of like worms that were like covered in dirt.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Please don't tell the story.
And then he downed them. He put them in his mouth and he
Mm.
chewed them up and he tried to eat them. And then he couldn't because they were so gross. He spit them out and they were just in a bunch of little pieces just wiggling around.
Yeah. I mean, I ate a worm once.
What?
Why?
Is this just something that guys do?
Yeah. I feel like from from childhood, like
You're like, wow, that worm looks good.
well, no, it's not even that. Like they either eat it just out of a dare, just to gross each other out, or you'll have like my grandpa, my dad, like even my uncle, I think at one
They
point.
used to eat worms.
No, they used to say you should eat that worm. It's good for It's good protein. It's whatever.
And so was it a dare that you ate one?
It's kind of like a guy thing to where it's like once in like one time, like if you eat a worm, then it's like, oh, you ate a worm. Okay. Like, but no, I mean, I ate it and it wasn't that big of a deal.
What it tastes like? You swallowed it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I chewed it up.
Well, at least like Eric, like he made more worms.
No, I just ate one.
Like he repopulated them by chopping them up.
That's so gross.
You just ate it and killed it.
Yep.
What did it taste like?
Dirt.
Dirt.
Yeah, it tasted like dirt. I mean, it was like it wasn't even slimy. It was just it tasted like dirt, and I was like, okay, I've eaten a worm now.
Ew.
What else have you eaten?
Like insect wise, or
Like
like
anything.
Or like
Like,
ass.
I don't know if he's there to try
Like,
that.
where was he?
I have eaten snails. I've had chicken feet. The chicken feet were really good.
You have something to say?
I don't know.
You're like
I'm like trying to figure out how to say what I was gonna say, and then it just never worked.
Just blurted out, and
Yeah.
then
The words just didn't make sense in my head, so it wasn't gonna make sense out loud either.
Oh well.
I mean, like eating ass is kind of extreme. Are there any other like
sucking toes.
Oh fuck!
Fucking love it.
What
you like to
you
suck
like
toes?
sucking
No.
toes?
You
No,
like getting your
I
toes
like-
sucked?
Oh, you like your toes sucked on?
Yeah,
High
then
five.
But that's also like something like I wouldn't expect because like
Exactly.
I wouldn't want to suck someone's
Oh,
toes.
No.
No, hell no.
Men have hairy toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will pop out my toes right now.
No, we don't need
And like
that.
the thing is like
Thanks, though. Appreciate it.
welcome.
the person like
science.
has to be into it or else it's just like weird. It feels like
I feel like it's something that can't be talked about. It just has to like
yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Like you can't be like, "Hey, can I suck your toes?"
Yeah.
And be
and
like,
with me
"No."
when it happened, it just like happened.
Yes.
I have no
And
desire.
I was like, what is going on? And then I was like, oh.
Oh wait, why do I like it?
Let me ask you this: was it? With
I don't know if I would.
Thomas?
No, I
Oh.
don't know if I would still like it because it was like forever ago. But like in that moment, I liked it, and it only like happened like once.
Have you ever found a guy that is let you suck his toes?
I've never asked to suck toes. I'm not trying to get in that position. I'm not trying to put.
She wants her
baby in a
toes being
corner and
sucked.
Just trap me.
She wants her toes being
Yeah.
sucked, not the other way
Yeah.
around.
Well, I don't know. It seems like something Haley would do. She'd be like, "Well, I mean, if you did it, I'll do it too."
No.
But you guys have been like women have been in the patriarchy for decades,
Yeah.
and like you guys have had to fight every single time. So I mean,
Yeah, like in high school, Haley was considered like a hoe, and I was considered a prude.
Yeah.
And you had sex with like one person.
Like only my boyfriends.
Yeah, like she wasn't just hoeing around. And then I never had sex until after I graduated high school. So I was just like,
Yeah.
Still
And
prude.
everybody was like, when is it gonna happen?
yeah, like when are you
is it
finally gonna have
happen?
sex? Like, I just don't want to. Like, there's
Yeah.
no desire. Like, I don't know. I never had like a long term boyfriend. I had like this thing where I would like date a guy for 3 months and then I'd get like bored.
Mm-hmm.
I just never felt like a strong connection with anyone to like worth keeping the relationship going. And so if I didn't feel that strong connection, I definitely didn't feel like any sexual tension that I felt like I wanted to do something. So
Right.
why do it?
Yeah.
Just to be like, oh yeah, I had sex, so don't call me a prude anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, from a guy's perspective, you know, like everybody was, you know, having sex and shit like that, and then senior year, it's like I lost, and I was like, all right, I lost, and all the guys were like, hey, welcome to the club. And it wasn't even like the welcoming that I was expecting. Like I thought, it was-
welcome did you want?
You
I was
expected
He
to
wanted
go
a
underneath all
full-blown
those buttholes.
Yeah. He's like, everybody.
That's why he wasn't allowed
Spread it
under the
open.
first time. It was only for
Right.
people that lost it.
I guess so. But no, I was expecting like, you know, like an Italian kind of like welcoming party after getting pinched, or it's like, you did it, yes, and like everybody pats you on the back and shit. Yeah, no, everybody's
no.
like, good job.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm like,
That's why I don't know why there was so much pressure around it.
I know.
Whether you did it or you did it,
Right.
there was always something
There was-
negative to say about it.
and there was always a pressure behind it, whether you were female or male. So
Absolutely.
yeah, but I don't know what honestly don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but and what's shocking to me is like I never saw Haley as like a hoe.
Rihanna did only because she like knew my stories, but it was only
I didn't think you were a hoe.
It
I
was only
hated
my
that other
boyfriends.
people would say that you are. Like, I can think of people off the top of my head that would always say that. But I'm like, she's had a boyfriend for 6 months.
Mhm.
You've had sex with 3 dudes in 3 months. What makes it any different?
Probably because I give off that sexy vibe.
I think people
That
were
little
very
scandalous vibe.
intimidated
Yep,
by
and I
Haley.
had that black hair at the time with it down to my butt, and I just gave off that vibe.
Yeah, and
I
she
got
didn't
that
care.
resting bitch face.
Yeah.
Well,
And I think people hated
talk
the
about
fact that
this.
she didn't care.
Let's talk about this a little
Yeah,
bit more,
because I'm
but
not
right now we're
scared to
going to take a
talk
quick
about
break.
it. Okay, sounds good.
So we were talking about your dark hair and how you just kind of looked like a sex symbol at 70 years old.
70?
17.
Oh,
Not necessarily. That was a rough patch because I didn't have those sperm looking eyebrows.
I know we were so everybody knows we are looking at
the yearbook.
my senior year yearbook, and we found Rihanna's junior year and Haley's junior year because they graduated a year behind me, and Rihanna wasn't too thrilled with hers. Why is that, Rihanna?
I used to do a side part.
You did a side part.
Yeah, and the side part was like a
It was
thing.
in.
Everybody did the
Yeah,
side
it was
part.
in.
And then once I realized that how stupid it
Do you
looked.
remember the little bumps? Those
Yes.
little dinosaur
yeah.
bumps that we
Yeah.
did?
Yes.
Those little poofs, yeah, they were
Mhm.
bringing it back from the 60s because they used to have
those
the
were ugly.
beehives
And
and
the bigger
everything.
the poof, like the
Yeah.
cooler it was.
Bigger
Yeah.
the batter.
You know where
Yeah.
that came from, right?
No.
Jersey
No clue.
Shore.
My girl
Snooki.
Snooki.
Yeah, your girl Snooki.
I still watch Jersey Shore to this day.
Do you really?
I never got
Heck
into
yeah.
it.
Oh,
Do you guys watch the Family
Stop
Reunion
flapping
one?
that book so loud.
sorry, Mom. Yeah, I do. I love it. Literally love it.
And why do you love it so much?
It's just entertaining to me, like to see like who they were then to like who they are now. Like watching like Mike go to prison for
Drugs.
he was not doing drugs. It was tax fraud.
Yeah, it was tax fraud.
But now he's got 2 babies, a boy and a girl, and his wife's pregnant again.
On the way.
So like they've all grown up so much. They're so different now. Sammy came back after 11 years.
I saw that. Yeah.
And like Ronnie's getting ready to come back.
Wait, they're still making it?
Yeah, they're making it now. They did they took like a how long of a year break? What was it, like 8 years?
What's that?
Before they did another season? It was a long time that Jersey Shore was off.
Yeah, because I mean, what was it, during COVID? Yeah, it was like during COVID, so had to have been that.
And I don't know. I watched it then, and I watch it now. I love a lot of reality TV though.
It was entertaining back in the day because it was just so new and crazy. But the hilarious thing is, I'm going to tell you right now, getting women as easy as they do does not happen.
At their age, probably, yeah.
Well, it's funny because it's like you look at the bar and it's like it just seems so easy, and the main thing is because people had cameras.
Well,
like
yeah, they were
following through the club.
known and
Yeah.
they had cameras
Yeah.
and, you know.
Yeah.
True.
So it just cracks me up. I'm like, how did they get that chick so fast?
And it's not like they were unattractive dudes.
Yeah.
No, I'll admit.
Vinny went through a weird phase. Vinny's way more attractive now than he was then. Like he looked like
He was a dork back then.
yeah. And Paulie still has his hair exactly the same
That's what's nuts.
to this day.
That's what's so nuts. Yeah, I don't know.
I watch a lot of reality TV.
Yeah. So, Haley, so what's up with? Hold on, I'm gonna look up the topic now. Oh, so we're gonna go back to your love of nature. So, what's up with the squirrel and the avocado tree?
So I worked so back in Hawaii, I grew a bunch of avocado trees and I would plant them in the forest. And when Reanna came to visit me, we planted a couple.
I think it was like 3 or 4.
Yeah. And
We
so
named them.
overall, I had like an army of avocado trees and we were planting them and making shit happen. But then I moved back to Michigan. And in Michigan, they do not grow as easily at all. It took me forever to get these 2 avocado seeds to finally sprout. And they finally had like a little stem on them. And I was like, I'm going to put them outside for a couple hours to get some natural sunlight. And then 2 hours go by. I go to check on them, ask them how they're doing. And they're
Wait,
gone.
you actually talk to them?
Yeah, you don't talk to your plants.
Well, I got a fake one in the bathroom.
I wouldn't talk to that. It's fake.
I more talk to the Harry taking a shit picture in above the toilet.
Oh, yeah. What do you say to it?
Good shit, bro.
No.
Nice.
I don't talk.
But it was gone, like plucked right out from its container. All there was that little divot that it used to sit in, both of them. And so I went to Thomas. I was like, Thomas, why'd you fucking steal my avocado seeds, man? Like, what'd you do with them? Like, really? Stop fucking with me. And he was like, babe, I didn't take, why would I do that? And I was like, oh.
That's cause for divorce.
I know. And so then, but then I saw the squirrels out there.
Thou shalt not steal wife's avocados.
Yeah, then I saw the squirrels out there. And they've been like my nemesis ever since because
They
Hawaii.
were just hungry.
Hawaii, I didn't have to worry about squirrels.
Feed them peanuts.
Then they'll always come back. They'll never leave.
That
And
is
they'll
true.
bring their friends.
That is
See,
true.
like I grew sunflower seeds, sunflowers, and I
Right.
didn't care if they ate the flowers, because they're hungry. But like when I'm trying to like create like life, like a tree that's supposed to like stick around, I was
Mhm.
pissed. And then they okay, so I grew this apple tree. A whole year of my life investment in this tree. And it's not like it's like a seed or anything like they can eat, right? So I put that outside and I hide it behind another plant and I tuck it in the corner. And they plucked my apple tree out of its container and just ran off with it. Like, why? Because like that's nothing that they could eat, right? Like, see, the avocado tree made sense, but the apple tree,
Now they're just
they were
being
declaiming like
assholes.
war. Like,
So do you like sick? Like, do you like send Rocco or
No.
or Leo?
no,
out?
I love the squirrels. I mean, is it like messed up of them? Yeah. But that's family.
That's
It's
family.
family. I love it.
There's always that weird cousin.
So as you were talking about Hawaii, like you, of course, like for those that know your love story of Thomas, Thomas served 4 years in the military,
Mhm.
in the Marines. James, Rihanna's husband, is serving currently, and thank you, James, for your service, and thank you, Thomas, for your service. But again, Thomas got to go on base at in Hawaii, and you got to visit him, and then got engaged, and then
Mhm.
got married, and then went right to Hawaii. So, what was it like living in Hawaii?
It was amazing. So at first, like I just went to visit Thomas, and then I came back and I was like, Mom, I'm getting married and I'm moving to Hawaii, and that's it.
That honestly
And-
sounds like the perfect
Right.
like, love story.
And she was
right
just
there.
like, okay.
Your mom saw it coming from the minute that she met Thomas.
Yeah, she's always
That is
been
a good
rooting
point,
for
too.
Thomas.
So
but
was
she
I, though.
she totally accepted it. She's like, okay,
There was nothing to argue with.
right.
sounds like you got it figured out. And I did. Yeah, but it was nice. I loved like all the hikes and stuff. We did so many hikes, and then
Tried to kill me.
I
on
met
that
like
one.
a bunch of like locals, and then people that were just like there for like a short period of time. I made a bunch of friends there. One girl we ended up like going on a hike with, and then she was just like, hey, like this, we were up in the middle of the mountains. No one's up there because it was a 7-mile hike. And that was the toughest hike I've ever been on. But she was like, no one's up here. So like, let's take off our bikini tops, and I was like, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, let's
Yeah.
be free, bitches.
Yeah, so then we hiked the rest of it like topless, and it was like the most
Was it at a national park or where was this?
up on the mountain.
They're just random
Yeah, there's
hiking
just like
trails.
in Hawaii, there's like hikes everywhere. They're hard to find sometimes because like it's just like a random like dirt path, or sometimes you got to go down the sketchy road, and you kind of just have to stumble upon them, or have someone who's done that hike before to like show you where it's at.
And
What was that one that we did?
She's I think she did that hike before, where she was able to get us to it, but it was hard to find.
So what was the point of the tops coming off?
Just because like no one else is around. So like when do you get that freeing moment like as a female? Like, I mean, I would do it like on my drive home sometimes because like no one can really, I mean, they can see into your car, but like
who's really paying attention?
yeah, exactly. And
That is
I
a
would
good
just
point.
like button down like my blouse because I had to wear like
In Hawaii or Michigan?
no,
above?
we're talking about like Michigan because I was a server, like a catering server, so I had to wear like the full like what's it called?
Like the button down with the vest on top when you were working at.
Yeah, like full on like suit and tie,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
guys' clothing.
Yeah.
So I would just like unbutton that. So like I'm still blocked on like my left and my right. It's just like the front is exposed. So like no one's gonna see that, you know?
Right. Side boob wasn't visible.
Yeah, exactly. But like it was only like time that I could like actually like
Feel free.
fully do that and not have to worry about like anybody seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
Because you guys get to do it all the time. And you take it for
kinda.
granted.
I mean,
And you're like, oh, well.
oh, shirts off, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be honest. We do take that for granted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I'll be honest though, like downstairs, sometimes us men just want to run free, just literally just
I
Winnie
mean,
the Pooh.
doesn't
in it.
everybody?
No, just
Yeah,
full
that's what I
on
was
like
thinking.
Winnie the Pooh in it.
Yeah. What is that?
Winnie the
Oh,
Pooh in it, where
With
you're
your
just
bunned out?
no, it means you're
No
wearing
privates?
No.
Just gone.
Everything
No,
disappeared.
what did Winnie the Pooh wear?
Boxers. He wore like little red shorts.
No,
No, he did not.
that was Mickey Mouse.
Oh my
Okay, so
God.
you just want to. So basically, you just want to
No.
wear a little tube top and have your fat stomach out and just walk around with your butt out.
Pantsless.
Okay, I feel that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I did that the other day, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so free."
Like in your place?
Oh yeah, I was like walking
No,
around
he's
here.
casually like walking around the block.
Oh, yeah.
Dick out.
Daddy, what is that man doing?
Yeah, you should do that more often.
Nice job, pervert. But anyway, so Reanna, so you said that Haylee almost killed you on a hike.
Well, it wasn't really Haylee. It was whoever Angela was seeing at the time.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go on this hike.
And he's done it before too.
Yes. So we were totally like, okay,
We trust
sounds
this
cool.
dude.
Trusted him, right? Big mistake.
Mm-hmm.
We started this hike and we keep seeing like crosses of people who have died on this hike. I'm like, Haylee, I don't want to be on this mountain anymore. And then we get to this wall where you literally like, it was like one singular rock stuck in the dirt and like this twig that's hanging on for dear life that you had to use to pull yourself up.
So on the bottom was a bunch of big rocks,
Like
scattered
big rocks.
scattered apart, and then then there was like a literally like rock climbing wall,
And
that
it was tall. Like if you
that
would
you
have
had
fell,
to go up to.
you would have been done.
Yeah, if you would have fell, you would have fell on those rocks below, and then you get up to the top, and he's like, "Yeah, so just grab onto this little root that's in the ground and pull yourself up." Mind you, the dirt on the top that you're pulling yourself up to, it's not a
slippery.
flat ground. It's at an angle, like tilting downwards. So you're trying to like shimmy your way up there. And the ground isn't solid either. That's why there's only one little root there, because nothing can grow, because it's all loose dirt just falling down onto you, into your eyes. And you're just grabbing on this little root, hoping that it doesn't break, because like that's like your only hope.
Yeah, and I told Haley, I was like, I'm not grabbing onto this root. So I was like, Haley, I'm not doing it. There's
Yeah.
no way. Like, I'm looking down and I'm like, I'm going to die.
But that little root was strong.
So
I was
Haley's like,
"Yup, Mother Nature. Thank you."
Thank you. Haley helped me out. I was like,
You started kissing that root. You're like,
the further
Bless
we
you.
go,
Yeah.
the more crosses we saw. And then like when we got down, I looked it up and there was like 4 or 5 people that had died on this same hike that we had just did. I was like,
Yeah.
Haley's like, I'm never trusting that guy again.
And then turns out there's an easier route.
Yeah, he just wanted to take us the hard way.
He just, because it was quicker, but it was more dangerous. And like literally when you get to the top, and you're just on this little pathway. You look to the left, you look to the right, just straight off the cliff.
Literally.
So you're just walking along this little path. And this guy was really cool though, because he was on the other side of the mountain and he captured a picture of us walking.
It was a video. We looked like we were like,
Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. It was a really sick photo.
That's very sweet.
It was.
He was really dope.
Coming down was also, even worse though.
He was also really crazy though, because then he he wanted to get like this good photo. So he like did some risky business to get like on the very top of this peak. And it scared me so much because it was windy up there. Obviously, you're on the top of a mountain. This guy had some balls.
Yeah. Me and him were like, it's time to go now.
Like he had a...
I'm sure he had big ones too.
But we don't know that for sure. Can't
but
confirm.
Metaphorically, he had some kahunas.
Yes.
What was the other crazy thing is some crazy dude had his dog with him on this hike.
Yeah.
And the dog was getting like no traction because again, it's loose.
Yeah, the dog was literally just falling down the hill.
It was literally
oh no, should we catch him? Like, what do we do?
But we couldn't catch him because we were slipping ourselves.
Yeah.
You couldn't stand up and walk back down. You had to be like down on your like your feet flat and your hands behind you, like almost like sitting and sliding, because if you would have tried to stand up, you would have lost balance.
Angela ripped a hole in her
her whole ass was out by the end of it.
Who's
Angela's ass? Her whole ass. Because she was sliding and her pants got no, it got stuck on a twig sticking out, and the twig like took her pants. Remember, she had a scratch on her ass too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
But that reminds me.
Was that the same weekend that Julia came with Angela?
No, it was when Angela came to visit the guy.
Angela came twice.
Yeah. The second time was just to visit. What's his name? I don't remember his name.
Good job. You burped away from the mic. I'm so
proud
of you.
Thank you very much.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Okay. But that reminds me. Okay. Have you ever seen that one video where like the riskiest job on the earth, you get like thousands of dollars just to change this one light bulb at the very top of this peak? Which is like, why don't they just wear skydiving gear? Why don't they change that light bulb and just... I'm out of here. Why would I climb all the way down when I could just skydive?
I don't know.
Because like I always wonder about that. Everybody wants to skydive, Haley.
Okay, but
I do.
I think, or at least like if you don't want to skydive, at least have it just in case you fall. You know, because all you got is that little hook, and it's not even like locking into place. It's just on a little peg. I would feel so much more secure if I at least had like a skydiving gear with me.
Most people are scared of skydiving, though.
And I guess you do have to get, like, certified in it.
Yeah.
So, but maybe you could, like, go on, like, the dark web and get, like, yourself a pack just in case.
I don't even know.
But then you're carrying a lot of heavier gear going up to this light bulb.
But at least it's, like, you're not... If you fall, you're not gonna die.
Well, if I buy this pack off the dark web, how do I know if the parachute's actually gonna, like, release? Or if I'm just going to fall to my death. Because I thought I was good.
You're pulling the strap. And
and it's just not working.
You're like, this fucker ain't going, man. I'm falling.
Well, then I guess you go to a skydiving facility. You wait in the parking lot. You maybe creep on them on Facebook or spike up a conversation with them. You get good with them. Right? You befriend them.
You're skydiving peoples?
Yeah, you're skydiving peoples. They give you all the knowledge. They hook you up. They understand that your job
you're just going underground and just secretly learning how to skydive.
I liked my guy who I went skydiving with. I was so scared.
When did you go skydiving?
I've got plans.
She went skydiving with me. I went skydiving
when we
twice.
Were in Hawaii.
You didn't know that?
I know you and Thomas went skydiving.
No, Thomas did not go skydiving.
No, that was Chris.
No, both times he was like, "Oh,
I
can't get out of work," and I'm like, "Babe, it's okay. You don't have to go."
Oh,
you don't have to lie.
But the first time I did go, I was terrified, and when I get nervous, like it's like no, like when I get nervous, like what is it called? When you take that. or I don't know what it's called, but when I get nervous, it's like a full-on cleanse. Everything comes out. Anything that
you
ever
get
went
like the
inside of me.
anxiety shits.
Yes.
Oh,
All comes out.
yeah. Well, it's not really anxiety, but more nerves.
Yeah.
That happened to me like more than once during hunting.
Yeah.
Is like you get so amped up and so excited, your bowels just say, "All right, time to shit."
Well, I was just so nervous that like just everything just came out, but I was so like happy that they like made us wait around for a while.
Me too.
Because after that, I've never been so empty before in my life.
I like
and then I
my
had
guy.
nothing else
Wait till you're
to give.
Wait till you're 50, then you're gonna be
Yeah.
like, never mind.
And then also like when I went like zip lining with like Heather and Cody and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
I got nervous again, and like we had to go in like one of those little things that take you up to the top of the mountain.
Like
Oh,
those
yeah.
little-
Wait,
but it closes in.
Where did you go? That was Alaska,
yeah.
right?
But it like the doors closed and everything, and
Yeah.
I was nervous.
Yeah.
Did you shit in the elevator?
No, I farted and I trapped them in there.
Oh my
it was
God.
It was
It
that
was that
story?
thing, but then in like Alaska, or was it Mexico? I think it was Mexico. I wanted to like fuck with them, so I waited until the elevator doors closed.
Oh, it was this story.
And then I
Yeah.
farted.
Yeah, you
See,
ripped
Haley, I don't
ripped
like
ass.
stuck
talking
in there.
about your
Yeah.
bowel movements because you like to tell me too much sometimes, and I have a hard time looking at McDonald's bags.
You shit in a McDonald's bag?
Yes, she
On
did.
top of my food, I did not have time to remove it. It was an emergency.
No.
It was an emergency.
You shit on
Okay,
a double
so-
cheeseburger and McChicken and all that?
No.
Yeah, she did. And then she put it in the trunk. And then Thomas got out of surgery. He's like, oh my God, the car smells like shit. She's like, yeah, there's a bag of shit in the trunk. We need to go. But she called me to tell me about it before. She's like, Reanna, I just had to shit in a McDonald's bag and I don't know what to do.
So Thomas had the genius idea of getting McDonald's before he was like getting evaluated for his surgery. Like he wasn't getting into surgery yet,
this
but
his
he was
eye
getting
surgery?
just checked out. Yes. And so we're in Hawaii. You know, Hawaii has mountains. They built this hospital on top of the mountain.
It's for sightseeing.
Oh, there was a beautiful sight up there, yes. But it was like 4 or 5 staircases that you would have to climb to just get to the top parking lot. Not even to the hospital, just the top parking lot. And so we had McDonald's beforehand, and for some reason those chicken sandwiches in the breakfast menu, you know what I'm talking about?
I know the McChicken.
Yeah, that might
Don't
be
they
it.
have like a crispy chicken like biscuit breakfast
Yeah,
sandwich?
it was like
Probably.
that,
Oh,
and then I
okay, yeah.
add cheese to it, and it
Okay.
was it's so good, and I miss it, but I can't have it because it's like
It's like a laxative for you.
there it is. It's a laxative to me. It just that
chicken sandwich is a
that
laxative.
specific chicken breakfast sandwich is a laxative.
Huh.
It's happened more than once, but
That you shit in a
You're like,
McDonald's
I
bag?
love it, but it does not love
no,
me.
but it last time I was safe, I was at home.
I'm happy
But
to
then
hear
I was
that.
like, never again will I eat this, and I actually honestly haven't really had McDonald's since. But yeah, so anyways, so he went up to his appointment. I had to stay in the car because it was during COVID, so we couldn't
Right.
be in the hospital if we weren't like the patient. And so all of a sudden, like my stomach starts to burn, and I'm like,
burn.
like I was catching on fire from the inside.
Oh
And
my
it
god!
just activated so quick. I didn't have time to like, walk up those stairs. It just was like it burned, and then all of a sudden it was like coming out. It was like giving birth, and then so I was like, oh shit.
That's not what giving birth feels like.
I don't know. I felt about right. so I was like, oh shit, what do I do?
Doesn't happen that fast.
Some people, they say it slides right out, and mine did.
Yeah, your shit slid right out.
And so I hopped in the back of the
Was
trunk.
it like solid shit?
Yeah.
Wait, you hopped in the trunk or the back of the seat?
Like the back of the car.
Yeah.
I went to the back of the car. I put up those little privacy window things, just doing the best I could. And then,
You just shit in a bag.
yeah. And then yeah. But it was like my body like knew, because usually, you have to pee and then poop.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like that's like the normal process.
Oh
Right.
yeah, you didn't pee yourself, did you?
No, like it was just a clean poop. Like there was just, and I had napkins in the car too, so I wiped. Nothing was there. It was like my body like knew, like this has to be quick, without pee, without a mess. And then I was like all set. And then right when I finished, a car parked right next to me.
And then what'd you do with your shit bag?
Well, I waited until that car went up the stairs, and then I walked the parking lot. I was looking for a trash can.
Was a bag of shit in your hand? Oh my god.
No, I left it. I was just scouting. I was just looking. I didn't want to walk around with it. And
Rightfully so.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just scouting around. I went up a couple staircases, still no trash can. I was like, I'm not delivering this poop bag to the front of the hospital. Like, it's not going to happen.
No.
And so I thought, like, what if I put it underneath the car? But then I'm like, I'm on a military base. Like, what if they think like I'm trying to like leave like a bomb or something behind?
I think you're overthinking
and then like,
it just
and
a
then
little bit.
I know I was, but you don't want to be caught in that situation that they come and search your car and they're like, "Ma'am, what did you put underneath your car?" And then they look in the bag,
sir.
and you're just like, "Yeah, that happens," you know. So I did what anybody would do. I put it in the trunk, and I was like,
no, not anybody would shit in a McDonald's bag, Haylee.
And I was like, it should be good in the trunk. Like, I thought the trunk was like separate enough that you wouldn't be able to smell it, but you could smell it. And when Thomas came to the car,
he was like gagging.
He was like, yeah, he was like, why does it smell like that in there? And I was like, Loki, so excited to tell him.
He was so disappointed in you.
I know. I was like, babe, hang on, it's funny.
Wait, hold on, I'm getting to the good part.
And so we drove like the whole way home, like a good half hour with the windows down, but it didn't help at all. He was like, it smells like baby shit.
I swear, when you're saying like you were looking for a trash can and stuff like that, you almost remind me of this one scene from have you guys seen Wild Hogs?
No.
It stars Tim Allen, John Travolta, Martin Lawrence, and a whole group of other people. But there's this one scene where they're camping, and this character named Dudley takes a poo. And so, well, listen to this.
Hey guys, this is poop, so don't eat it.
Oh, jeez, really?
Nice.
Can't tilt your phone sideways.
No, it wasn't even that. Hold on, let me try and find a better video.
Was there not like a woodsy area that you could go shit in and like bury
This
it?
is poop, so don't eat it. Oh God.
Excuse me, Mr. Hard Drive. You're supposed to bury it, not put it in a bag.
This is plastic. I'm not going to put it in the earth. I'll find a garbage can tomorrow.
Is that Frank from
So you're going to sit right
Shameless?
next to me with that doo-doo.
Hey, you in the trunk?
Hey, come on. Didn't get any better than this. Sit around a fire, chilling with your best friends, just relax and enjoy.
I'm sorry, Dudley. You gotta bury that thing. Otherwise, I'll vomit in your lap.
Each other's company.
All right, I'll hang it from a tree so the bears don't get it. No, don't hang it in a tree. Why not? Because bears don't eat shit.
That's honestly you.
Yeah, I wouldn't litter that bag.
You had a paper bag.
I did have a paper
Would
bag.
you bury that though? If you could, like, would you bury a paper bag?
She wouldn't have ever shit in the paper bag. She would have went and dug a hole and
She
shit in the hole.
Oh my god!
But there was like all just parking lot around me anyways. But yeah, I was so excited to try that little the little pie. It was coconut, or was it taro?
But you shit on it though.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's a
didn't, so I
secret
never got a
ingredient.
chance to try it because we didn't go back to McDonald's and try that. And that was like the limited Hawaii edition. And so I've still never tried it.
Holly.
Can't remember if it was coconut or taro. Taro was
What's taro?
amazing. So it's like a root. It's like a purple root. The actual vegetable of it, disgusting. But the desserts that they make out of it, the ice creams, the pies, like they were so good. It was my favorite flavor, and they actually have it here in Michigan. If you go to like a bubble tea shop, you see like it's like a purple drink.
Okay.
It's called taro. It's so good. I mean, it doesn't exactly taste the same, and everywhere where you get it tastes different.
Hmm.
Yeah. My favorite one was at the mall. They had like this ice cream shop. They made it the very best.
Which mall?
It's in Hawaii.
Oh, in Hawaii. Okay.
Yeah. So you wouldn't know that mall.
No. Well, I was like, you said the mall. And
Yeah.
I'm like, there's like a bunch in Michigan that I know of, and
Yeah, but
it was in Hawaii.
it sucks because, like I said, it always varies. So then you tell people about it, you hype it up, and then they try it, and it's like not that good, and you're like, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we're gonna take another quick break, and
Has it been 30 minutes already?
It has.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna take another quick break, and then I have a couple questions for you, Reanna.
Okay.
You getting ready for this?
Okay.
Alrighty. All right, so Haylee is going to grab some more water, some ice, and all that fun stuff. But we're gonna
Why do you
turn
have so
our
much Hershey syrup in your refrigerator?
because I like chocolate milk. Okay,
Oh my god. It's a lot of Hershey syrup.
it's just 2 containers.
They're big containers.
Yeah,
They're like the extra large size bottles.
I'm almost. I almost have them like one is almost empty. So.
Okay, it's fine.
I mean, I
I
always
respect it.
I always-
Chalky milk.
well
It's
I
delicious.
I always buy the gallon of milk. Sometimes it
drink
gets
milk.
down to the very bottom,
Then
and
you
then
just throw some Hershey
You ever
syrup in there.
tried chocolate milk
No.
with ice cubes?
what's that?
Chocolate milk with ice cubes.
Chocolate milk on
Oh.
the rocks?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got liquor for that to pour. Like, I got a banana pudding moonshine that I got from Tennessee, and that you can pour on ice.
I'm reading a Colleen Hoover book, and she literally was going on a date with this guy, and she asked for chocolate milk with ice, and he was like, can I get a chocolate milk on the rocks? in the book, and he was like, that is the weirdest thing, but I love it.
Yeah, it's
Huh.
good.
Yeah,
that
I've
doesn't-
never done that before.
You just gotta drink it quick.
So it doesn't get watery?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay, anyways.
that's interesting. So, one thing that you both have in common, other than being best friends, since how
Seventh grade.
Seventh
How old were
grade.
we in 7th grade?
12?
12?
12,
13?
13? Yeah.
How old are we now? Ooh. We've been friends for way too long.
I know.
You can't be unfriends now because you know too much.
Right.
Yeah, she won't let me.
Right, exactly. that's like with Chris and I. Like, we know too much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
She could like ruin my life.
Yeah.
No.
Mm,
I don't even know. But
you don't want to know.
Yeah, no. So the one thing that you guys both have in common is you guys well, now that Thomas is out of the military, but you guys at one point were military wives. And you both are military wives. So I mean, like, everybody shines light on, the military and like what it and like the sacrifices that they go through. But I mean, a couple of movies, like war movies and stuff like that, they shine light on, like, the one movie called We Were Soldiers. They shine light on the women of during the Vietnam War, of the wives of the people in the military, of the men in the military, and like what they went through. And not many people talk about the military wives and what they go through kind of on a daily basis. So, I mean, now that Thomas is out, like, what was your experience like being a military wife, Haylee?
Well, my first time moving into the neighborhood, we moved in with his friends at first until we were able to get a place.
Mm-hmm.
And his friend's wife was like, girl, so like the neighbor next door, she asked me if we want to switch spouses. And I'm like, whoa, what? But apparently, like, that was really common because some people...
It is. Swinging's a
yeah.
very
Talking about
normal
upside
thing.
down pineapple, people switching spouses.
I could never.
Really, really weird. Because some people just married for the money and not for love.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
But
not much money that
overall-
goes into it.
Yeah. But overall, it was a great experience for me.
You did it?
No.
Oh, well, you said it was a great experience. Like, yeah, that dude was nice.
It was a nice trade. No,
I could never.
They were both really never.
No.
But the military experience was a great experience for me. Short term, I would not want to be in it. Long term, but just for a couple of years was just fine.
Now, I remember when Thomas went and was deployed to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you went and visited him before COVID hit.
Yeah.
But when COVID hit, he had to stay there, 4 extra months or so?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what was that like for you?
I had a job on base, but technically it was 2 jobs. So I would work that other job. But then how base worked was if another location was like short, like you would cover it. So I worked at Starbucks, like I worked there for a short period of time. They loaded me up with caffeine, man. I got so many free drinks within a short period of time. I've never had like a caffeine buzz before.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I was cracked out.
Yeah.
I was tweaking.
Yeah.
And all I had to do was hold the door open for customers. It was amazing. That was my job, was just greeting them.
Meanwhile,
so
you're
like,
shaking.
Hello?
Just tweaking out of your mind off of caffeine.
Literally. They're like, here, we made you another drink. Try this.
Okay.
And that was my first time trying the pink drink. Disgusting. Don't recommend it. And I know so many people love it, but I just can't get on board.
No, it's nasty. I don't like it either. I tried it once because I'm like, oh, what's the hype? Let me try it. And I
don't understand
Ew.
it. I threw it away. Disgusting.
Same
with that strawberry cold foam topping.
Yeah, no, not for me. I like the vanilla sweet cream cold foam and the pumpkin one.
Yes.
The pumpkin one's good. I
love both those.
Yeah.
But the strawberry,
that's as far
disgusting.
as I'm going.
But when he was gone, though.
Yeah. So yeah, just a lot of working. That was when I did that hike alone and met that friend and
yeah.
So a lot of hiking, a lot of like getting together with some people that I came across. And then
because I know you missed him like a lot.
Oh yeah, I missed him a lot. And that was the time period his friend also got deployed. So then I had to move out of the house. And so I had to go and hunt for an apartment like all by myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had to like adult like real quick. I have no experience in that field. And luckily I met like an older couple that moved to the island like years ago. They were super sweet. They loved like military people because, you know, it was consistent pay. They didn't have to worry about them like getting fired so much compared to like having locals live there and such.
Right.
So they like quickly accepted me in, especially because he was like deployed. They were like, oh, you're so sweet. You're so brave. You're doing so great. They really hyped me up and made me feel like good about the situation. But yeah, they really helped me out.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm. And then his friends helped me move in and stuff. So that was super nice.
That's great that you had that experience. I mean, I know you missed him a lot. And then when he came home, like...
Yeah. And then I was binge watching like serial killer stuff.
I told you that wasn't a good idea, Haylee. She told me she was doing it. I was like, Haylee, you're going to get yourself freaked out. You are going to like mentally convince yourself that this is going to happen to you. And what happened?
And I did. And so I didn't sleep. Like at nighttime, I would only sleep during the day. And then
because it was light outside, no one was getting in there when it was light outside.
Yeah, there was this gas station across the street, and they would always take smoke breaks. And I like convinced myself that they were like scoping out the place. And then there was this homeless man who was like camped out in front of our place, and like he asked if I like had something like more than like what I was offering him. And I was like, yeah, I do. It's actually like, I'll be right back and I'll give it to you.
You walked into your apartment and then he knew where you lived?
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't because then he'll never leave. And
he'll know where you live. He'll know which apartment's yours.
Exactly. And then, so I was like, I went back out to him. I was like, oh, actually, like, I don't have it. Like, sorry. My husband must have taken like the last of it. And then, so he never left. Like for days, he just camped out in front of our place, and I was tripping balls. Like, and then eventually one of the other residents that was staying in the apartment called the police on him and he got removed. But yeah.
Well, are you still into serial killers?
No.
Oh.
So now I'm into like, you really are what you like consume and what you see daily. So now it's all positive music. It's no, it's not music like, hey, fuck that bitch, blah, 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 blah.
Like what we were listening to. On
Yes,
the break.
exactly. It's none of that toxic stuff anymore. It's all positive. The shows I watch are all positive. I used to love like NCIS and like Law and Order.
Law and Order is a great show.
I know. I never got to watch the rest of it because I stopped consuming it. And honestly, like life has gotten so much better since then. My mind isn't as paranoid as it used to be. I don't watch any scary movies anymore. Like none of that.
I've never watched scary movies. They've always freaked me out. Like I've been a baby about scary
I
movies.
only watch scary movies during Halloween. That's it.
I like The Nightmare Before Christmas, but that's about as spooky as I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. But honestly, you guys should like give it a try. Just like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't
observe
know.
what you are consuming daily.
I mean,
and then just get rid of stuff and just see how it changes your mindset.
Yeah. I mean, I get into serial killers on the fact that the psychological part of it.
I like that too. And I feel like it's a great learning experience. Like, well, for me personally, like when I listen to like Crime Junkie and Morbid, their podcasts, they're
love Morbid.
They basically are like, stay weird and stay alive. Like, if you think that I don't want to be weird and answer it like that, no, be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I already know those guidelines.
And they bring it from a woman's
I don't ever want to forget.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was gonna say, come October, my dad's coming on, and he used to teach forensic science.
Oh, that's cool.
And he did this thing about serial killers. It was more the psychological part of it. And what I'm planning to do with him is take iconic Halloween characters,
right,
and comparing them to serial killers.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Like which ones match these ones, like the characteristics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not about the victims, not about the killings or anything
no,
like that, but more the psychological, like what they went through, and to match the
even though
character.
I think that the victims should be mentioned, because I feel like the serial killers themselves shouldn't be so like famous. I feel like we should talk more about the victims than we should about the serial killer. Like he gets so much publicity, and nobody talks about the actual victims in this story. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the sad thing about it is there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's horrible.
Off of one serial killer, they did like this one guy killed like 90 something people. That's women horrible. And like he could picture each individual one in his head. Like he would draw out, and like he did sketches and stuff like that, and then the police had to match that picture and compare it to like other people that have gone missing and stuff like that. I mean, it's fascinating stuff, but I mean, I know it's, dark and it's, negative
dark
and stuff
and
like
twisty.
That. Yeah, dark and twisty, but it, for some reason, it just fascinates me. And
it is interesting.
And same thing with like the mob. Like I'm fascinated by that, on how like they started, way back when, like in the 1920s, with like Al Capone and all those guys, and then led to like an organized like 5 families crime family, and then are still active today. They're more underground, but
mm-hmm.
But anyway, to go back on the topic of being a military wife, Reanna.
Sorry, man, we got some ADHD over
I love
here.
it. I love it.
Put me and Haley in the same room and we'll be here all night.
I love it. So Reanna, being a military wife, I mean, you've been doing it for 4+ years now, or 5,
almost 6.
Yeah. So like, kind of comparing it to Haley, like, is your experience similar, different?
I think probably a little bit different. I never lived as far away from home as Haley did. we've only been as far as North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime that James has left, I've just gone home. And, some people are like, oh, like you need to grow up. But to me, the whole reason that I'm in North Carolina was for him because that's what his job needed. If he's not there, then why am I here?
Yeah, and honestly, if I didn't have to take like a flight by myself, I probably would have gone home too. But I'm just
Think
such
about
a
how
paranoid
expensive it
person.
would
I
have been.
hate doing that.
I mean, it's so expensive. All I did was get in my car and drive.
Yeah.
It costed me less than $200 in gas.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just home.
Mhm.
I felt like without him there, like, what am I here for? I'm not in the military. I didn't sign a contract. I don't have to be here.
Yeah, and also I was just in for like a short time. So I was just living it up in Hawaii as long as I could because I knew it wasn't going to be like a permanent situation.
Right.
With you, as of right now, it's more long term
For sure.
because he re-enlisted.
Yeah.
So it's different.
So, like knowing that he's away now, like I'm sure you miss him a lot, and like, do you have like those lonely
To an
times?
extent. I don't know if I would say like, yes, like I miss him, but it's not like I need him.
Right.
We've been doing this for so long. We were long distance for 4 years.
They know how to be their own person.
Yeah, like I am me and he is him.
Mhm.
We can be ourselves and be together and be happy, but we can also be our own two people again. And we don't deal with a lot of neither of us like have a lot of like trust issues, if that makes sense. Like he can go do what he wants and I can do what I want. And it's not like, who are you with? How long are you going to be with him? You're with a guy? Are you hanging out with girls right now? It's not like that. We just let each other do what each other wants to do and are happy for each other. I wasn't like ecstatic when he re-enlisted, but I understand his reasoning behind it. And the one thing that I wanted was to stay in the States. Well, the connected states. I don't really want to move to Hawaii. It was beautiful when I went. I think living there would be an awesome experience. But being that far away from home, I don't know if that's really like good for me. He's so used to it. He signed up for this.
Right.
He signed up to be away and be away from family. And yes, I guess you could say I kind of signed up for it when I married him, but the military is not my life. That's not what like I feel like defines me. I don't define myself as a military wife,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
So, what do you think defines you as a military wife?
I don't think
Not
that. Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm James's wife. I'm who I am. I had my own life before him. I have my own life now, and we just do life together. We support each other through the things that we want to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, as a married couple and as a relationship.
Like as much as
should.
I didn't want him to re-enlist, that's something that he wanted, so I have to come to learn to support that. But
Absolutely.
at the same time, you have to find some sort of compromise. And my one thing was I don't want to move that far.
Yeah.
I don't want to move. I want, if possible, like I want to stay in North Carolina. The furthest I'll go is like South Carolina, which is even actually closer to home,
Right.
which is weird.
Yeah.
Like it's only an 11-hour drive instead of like 13, 14 hours.
So, say if you moved to Missouri.
That's only 11 hours.
Yeah.
I like the idea of moving to Missouri. We'd be going with some people we know, which I think is important for me after what we went through this year
Mm-hmm.
to not kind of start fresh and know nobody.
Right.
Because that's a hard adjustment. Because, I mean, it took a toll on our relationship for a little bit because he was my only form of entertainment. I knew nobody.
Yeah, starting off, it was rough.
They had a life already. They have all these
Mhm.
friends. They do all these things. And now you're just kind of there.
Yeah,
I felt
you don't
very
know
out of place.
anybody there. When you start off, you don't have a job either. So I
Mm-mm.
was just doing a bunch of housework because I felt like I had to like give back in like some
Yeah.
way or form. So it was
You're kind of
bad.
just thrown into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your like whole world just like your whole life just changed.
Mhm.
Yeah. Whereas when they get thrown into it, it's basic training.
Yeah, but they knew what they wanted to do. They knew what they were getting into.
Right.
Yeah.
As a military wife, you don't really think about it until you kind of get there and you're like, oh, this is not like
And they're
sunshine and rainbows
all, yeah,
like
they're
you
all
wanted
put
it to
through
be.
training together. They're all working together. So they build those friendships. With us, it's just you
You're just there.
out there.
Yeah. So I felt like really lost at 1st.
Mhm.
And I definitely was way more clingy than I've ever been before because I had no one else. What was I
Yeah.
supposed to do?
I
Who
was
was I
like an
supposed to talk
excited
to?
dog waiting for him to come home.
Literally, I'm like sitting there. I'm like, oh my God, it's almost 4:00. He should be home soon. Ooh, what are we going to do when he gets home? I'm like,
Yeah.
it was ridiculous. And all he wanted to do was come home and like decompress like any normal
Yeah,
person.
exactly.
But I didn't get that because
Mhm.
I'm just sitting here waiting around.
Yeah.
I hated that feeling. I did not like it. And then we got pregnant relatively quickly. It was only
It was like a few months.
it was a few months.
It was
yeah,
a few months
like,
after you guys were married.
Yeah, it was. Like I moved down there officially in January, and I think I found out that I was pregnant in like April
Yeah.
or May, somewhere around there. And I don't that was not the easiest thing either because you do a lot of things alone during that time. We also went through before we got married because you hear the stereotypical stuff like they met a month ago and they're getting married in a month and things like that. And that's not something that me and him wanted. Like, yes, we knew that we wanted to marry each other and we wanted to be together forever, but we wanted to put our relationship like to the test. Like, is this really going to work? So before we got married, he went on a deployment. We had, for majority of the time, we had no form of communication other than email. I was lucky to get a response within like that same day. There's times where they would be like docked somewhere. I don't know how there was a different term for it, but you know what I mean. And they would have service. So then we would talk, but at the same time, he'd want to go adventure and go do these things. And it was hard because like, well, why don't you want to talk to me? What do you mean you want to go hang out with your friends? You're with them all day. But he's in Greece. Of course he wants to go do things and see what's there. And then this was supposed to be like they were not supposed to be boots on the ground while they were there. He was supposed to be like in a safe zone on the ship, totally fine. He ended up in Afghanistan. And during like the evacuation, and it was horribly scary.
Oh wow, he was
there, like boots on the ground.
Wow.
And I was talking to a military wife. She was an older lady. They had like 5 kids. She was amazing to talk to because she had gone through, it was like her 6th deployment or something, maybe more. But this was the first time that her husband's ever been boots on the ground, and she was a wreck. I'm like, oh God, if she's a wreck, like, how am I supposed to keep myself together? I basically like ignored everything. All I did was work. My grandma knew that it was freaking me out, so she didn't have the news on when I was home because it was all over the news.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And she didn't have the news on. The only time that she asked me was when the bombing happened and we lost 13 Marines.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She was
that.
like, have you heard from James today? And I was like, no, I haven't. Why? And then she showed me and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. So I called his mom. I'm like, have you heard from James today? She's like, no. I was going to ask you, have you heard from him? I'm like, no, he's not answering any of my texts. He's not answering my calls. So I called his dad. Same thing. No one's heard from him. Finally, after hours of me blowing him up, I get the text like, I'm alive. I'm okay. And it was nobody in his unit. So it was none of like his friends that he's been deployed with this whole time. It was terrifying.
Wow.
Going through something like that is definitely not for the weak. And I basically was just like living in oblivion. I didn't talk to anybody about it. I just acted like it wasn't happening. There was like nothing to make it like make you I didn't want to think about it.
Yeah.
So I just didn't. And he would give me like updates, like, I'm okay, I'm alive. But get like the fact that I had to get I'm alive messages from my husband is like terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, and like you were saying, like you would get emails and
Mhm.
you wouldn't get response right that day. I mean, you imagine, right, during World War II, during Vietnam, like those were by telegram and by letters.
Doing this, being a military wife, is not for the weak.
I mean, you girls, wow.
And our relationship sustained all of that.
Yeah.
And then we got married. And like moving there at first was a little hard, and then I got a job and I loved my job. I was a nanny. I was pregnant during that time, the whole time. And
So you were pregnant when he was in Afghanistan?
no, I was not. We weren't married yet. That was before. We were only
Oh, okay.
engaged
Gotcha.
while he was gone.
Okay.
Yeah, he proposed before the deployment.
Ooh.
We got married after the deployment.
I guess good timing on James.
Yeah, but we
doing
were
that.
together for a little over 4 years before we got married.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Haley and Thomas are different though. They knew they dated in high school. They've known each other for years.
Kind of.
Yeah,
Like,
we've got a long
Y'all got a
history.
story.
We
They've
got
got
a
a-
story.
Yeah, they've got a long history. I didn't have that history with James. I met him at an Applebee's one night. And that was it. That's where our story started.
And the sparks were there.
Well, he said, I usually tip pretty waitresses $20, but I gave you 21. So can I have your Snapchat? And
Smooth.
here we are
Yep.
now.
Smooth pickup
Yeah.
line, James. That a boy.
Yeah, being a military wife is
Not for the
honestly
weak.
wouldn't recommend it to a friend.
Yeah.
I know-
Only like a short term, like if you knew where they were getting out
For
after
sure.
the 4 years and that's it.
Yeah. And if you knew the person, I don't recommend just like
Yes.
jumping into a marriage and thinking everything's going to be like
Yes.
sunshine and rainbows, because that's not real
Because like
life.
doing that with like a complete like stranger or someone you just like are starting to get to know, even
Right.
if it's been like a year, that's
it's
still
not
not
the
enough.
same. Yeah.
No. Wow. I mean, that story alone just got that kind of like blew my mind to
Yeah.
where like what you went through. Like you hear stories about that, about like
It-
families at home kind of dealing with that.
But I was at home. I had a village of people with me. I wasn't on my own. I didn't have any children. I can't imagine what like wives go through when they're at home, and you usually have your partner there to help you take care of the kids, and now it's all on you.
Yeah.
It's all on you. I can't.
Yeah.
That'd be so hard. But I know like I always have like a village of people to always make sure like I'm okay. Like just now, I didn't want to be alone, and I told I work on a food truck now. Tanya's Hella Fat Food in North Carolina.
Tanya's Hella Fat Food.
Yes.
That's a good
Sliders,
name.
tots, German
Interesting
food.
name.
That's a good
Yep.
name.
Hit her up. She's located in New Bern, North Carolina. Anyways, she needed me to stay for another week after James left. So I stayed, and I called my grandma. I was like, can you come stay with me for a week and then we can drive back together? And she said, absolutely. Like just nothing else that was going on in her life mattered anymore. She came to take care of me. After mine and James's daughter died, my grandma got on a flight that next morning. My mom got on a flight that next morning. His mom and his sister were already driving the moment that they found out I was in labor and just drove straight there. They actually saw me before I gave birth. So they were there through it all. My dad was also on his way when he found out that I was in labor. So my dad and my sister, his dad got the call about things weren't going well, and he was down in the Keys. He got in the car at 11 o'clock at night and didn't stop driving until he got there the next morning. He just drove straight through in the middle of the night.
Were you in labor when he was driving?
He started driving when he heard that she was getting what was supposed to get life flighted to the NICU in a different area of North Carolina, but it was too foggy that night, so the helicopter couldn't fly to life flight her.
Mhm.
But when he heard things were going in a very bad direction, he just got in the car and he started driving. So I always have people that will drop anything to take care of me. which is amazing to have. And not a lot of military spouses have that.
Right.
So I would say that my situation is probably a lot easier than what other military spouses go through. Because, I mean, the fact that his mom, his sister, my dad, my sister, my grandma, my mom, and his dad dropped everything for us and were there the next day.
Wow. Well, we're going to continue this, but we're going to take another break.
I'm sorry, I talked too much.
No, you're good. You're
Nah,
good.
it's good. I gotta pee.
All right. All right, so we're back, and Haylee is massaging Rihanna's feet. She's like, "Can you rub my feet?" And she's like, "Rub your feet."
Well, she did it.
Yeah, but what like made you guys like laugh hysterically just at that moment?
Nothing.
I try to deep throat her toe.
Her intrusive thoughts took over.
I guess so. She's not gonna suck on Thomas's hairy toe, so.
No.
Plus, you're wearing socks, so it's like
I know.
that would be
It
weird.
would be real dry.
Yep.
So, oh my god, I just got a tickle in my throat.
Wow.
That was rough.
Too much toe.
Yeah, I guess so. Rihanna, get your foot out of my face.
Oh my God. My
So-
legs are too short. They couldn't even reach
I
you.
know they couldn't reach me at all. So as you were saying, like before, you know how you and James had gone through a traumatic moment, and I've asked you about this. You know, and I
Trigger warning.
yeah, a little bit of a trigger warning. But I mean, like as you were talking about like the birth of your daughter, like I'm sure that could have been like absolutely scary as a mother to go through.
Yeah. Very confusing. Very scary.
Just because everything was happening all at once.
Yes, and I'm trying to think of the right word. Like when I felt useless. There was nothing I could do. Like I did everything that I was supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it was no longer in my hands.
Right.
So like I couldn't do anything to save her. The only choice that I had left to make as her mother was when they asked me if they wanted us. Oh my gosh. They asked us what they wanted us. Oh my gosh, I can't finish the sentence. They asked us if they wanted to keep going or if they wanted us to tell them to stop. Because even if they could have got her back, she had been without oxygen for 3.5 hours. So chances are she could have been brain dead and
Right.
had horrible, like, lifelong
Well, for those of
issues.
you who don't like know you,
Yes.
like how did you get to that point? You know,
How did I get to the point of making that decision?
no, like what happened that led her to be without oxygen for so long? For the people that don't know your story.
Well, I can't give like a 100% answer as to what happened because I did not get an autopsy done. The doctors did push me to change my mind on that. But after seeing what she had already gone through, I couldn't like picture them poking and prodding at her anymore and like cutting her open. I just wanted her to be able to lay at rest. And
Mm-hmm.
even though she wouldn't have felt it, but for me, I just didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
And James agreed. He also didn't want that. But like I said, we found out we were pregnant in, I think it was May. And I had a very normal, like healthy pregnancy. Every checkup, it was like perfect. She was growing fine. Her heart, her lungs, her kidneys, when they do like the full anatomy scan, everything came back great, except for the fact that she had a pretty large head, which I already knew going in because my husband has a pretty large head. So I was like, oh, pray for my vagina. Hopefully she survives this. But perfectly healthy, like textbook normal pregnancy. I went into labor at home. I thought I was in labor. I was correct. There was times like before that I thought I was and I wasn't. And then people would keep telling me like, you'll know. Oh, I knew. Like, okay, this hurts. And so I like waited at home for a while, but I didn't want to wait too long because we were about a 40-minute drive to the hospital. And like Haylee said before, sometimes it just happens really fast. It did not happen very fast for me. I was in labor for 36 hours.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I labored for a long, long time. And the entire time, the baby was completely normal. I was completely normal. There was no signs that anything was going to go wrong. I got to 9.5 centimeters dilated and my cervix started to swell. So like it started to close more. They put me in different positions, gave me some medicine to try to not swell.
Reduce the swelling.
Yes. They had me try pushing. I think I tried pushing for probably 30 minutes or so, but it was just making my cervix more and more angry. So my cervix just kept swelling. So we waited a little bit. They came to check and my cervix was still swollen. Like nothing was getting it to go down. Also, the baby's head was kind of like, she was almost like ear first, if that makes sense. Like her head was kind of tilted in the wrong direction. So they went in and tried to turn her head the right way. It didn't really work, which was probably like, that was the most painful part of it all. Them going in there and trying to reposition her. Oh my God. My water didn't.
Epidural at that point?
Oh, as soon as they asked if I wanted an epidural, I was like, hell yeah.
Did the epidural hurt?
Actually, no. I was so worked up about this epidural. I was terrified. Mm-hmm. And I'm not kidding. I had a whole full-blown panic attack. The nurses at this hospital were amazing. I had like James on one shoulder, the nurse on the other, one standing in front of me, like rubbing my head, wiping my tears, just telling me to breathe, trying to calm me down. The guy doing the epidural, he was talking to me super nice. And then it was over. It was done. I don't know what I was so scared for. That was easy. I got the epidural at like, I think I was at like 4 centimeters. I don't know. I didn't make it that far. I didn't like the pain. So they offered it and I was like, okay, I'll do it. After that, I just labored for a long time. And my water never broke. I got to 9 centimeters and like, it was just like the doctor was saying, like, she could see like the whole sac like coming, like, so she broke my water for me at 9 centimeters, which then put us on a time limit. Because I think like after your water breaks, you only have a certain amount of time before then you have to deliver. But I just wasn't progressing anymore. I was stuck at 9.5 centimeters for like 10 hours. Nothing was changing. So she's like, we can continue trying to have you, deliver naturally, or we can do a C-section. And I knew that when she broke the water that she had her first bowel movement in the womb, which causes like, it's called meconium, and the fluid is very sticky. But it wasn't like, it can be like super like dark. It could be like black. It was maybe a yellowish brown. It wasn't, there was no concerns to it. It's a very normal thing that happens. They offered the C-section. I've been doing this for 36 hours. I was tired. I didn't feel like anything was going to change. So I said, okay, we can do the C-section. And they started prepping me for the C-section. It all happened really fast. They get me to a different room. They take the epidural out. They do a spinal tap. The spinal tap they placed a little bit too high. So like my chest wouldn't move anymore. It's like I couldn't breathe. And I couldn't talk to tell them I couldn't breathe. And I'm like,
that must have been scary.
I was freaking out for a second. And they put an oxygen mask on me. So I remember all that. They had me laying down. They were asking me like questions, things like what was her name and stuff. And we literally just picked her name like 3 days before we went to the hospital. So I was bragging about it. I'm like, yeah, I finally figured it out. Took me long enough. Sorry. The C-section, I fell asleep though. I didn't sleep for really those 36 hours. I was maybe in and out of naps, but they were constantly coming in, checking on you, moving positions, doing all types of things. So I didn't really sleep. I don't know if it was like the amount of drugs in the spinal tap or what else they gave me,
You were exhausted.
but I was knocked out.
Yeah.
I remember I fell asleep before they even started the C-section, and I woke up and I was like, oh wow. Like I was like, look over, I see James. I'm like, oh hey. He's like, hi honey. I'm like, how are you? He's like, no, how are you? And then I fell asleep again, but it must have been like very briefly, because then I wake up again and I hear the baby like make this itty bitty like sweet little cry. I was like, oh, they got her out. That's good. And then I hear the doctor say, oh my gosh, she's such a big baby. I would have never been able to deliver her vaginally. She was almost 10 pounds. My body was not equipped to do that. And with her head being the wrong way, she had a pretty big head. It just wouldn't have worked. And then I fell back asleep, which like kills me now that I really wish I would have been more alert and more awake at that time. But I couldn't help it. I kept falling asleep. I didn't mean to fall asleep. I guess they had to like strap my arms down because I kept touching the doctor's butt, even though I didn't. I don't know.
And of course.
I didn't mean to. And then again, fell asleep. I wake up in the like recovery room. And there's like nurses in there like asking me how I'm feeling. I was feeling fine. Like I wasn't in any pain or anything. I'm sure I still couldn't like really feel my legs. And James wasn't in there, so I assume he's with the baby. Makes sense. And then the like nurses have like these like nurse phones, and she answered a call, and the whole mood in the room changed. I instantly knew something was wrong. She started moving frantically, talking frantically. She couldn't leave me in the room by myself, so she's trying to find somebody else to come in here and just like observe me because she needed to be somewhere else. And I kept asking her, like, what's going on? What, like, is something wrong with my baby? Where's my husband? Like, and she ignored every question I asked her. Like, just didn't answer. Just like I wasn't there. I was like, what is going on? Finally, somebody else comes in there. She leaves. James comes back and he's like, James and like, I think it was a nurse. They came in and James was like, they tried to get the meconium out of her lungs and it doesn't seem like it worked. She's not getting enough oxygen. They're intubating her. They're on the phone with the NICU from Greenville, which was like, it was like an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes away from the hospital that I was at. That was the closest NICU. And the NICU's telling them everything that they need to do. They have all the things to do what that NICU also would have been doing. But James comes in, they're like, they're getting her life flighted. They're getting her on a helicopter. And I said, I want to go. Like, take me too. And they were like, we can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just got a surgery. I'm like, I need to be with her. But then I was like, okay, James, you're going with her. I don't care if I'm here by myself. I do not care. And he's like, okay. And then a little bit of time goes by. I call like my mom. I call my grandma. And everyone's like, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And then the pediatrician comes in and I could see it on her face. I was like, oh my God. And she's like, I don't think she's going to make it. And I just started like screaming, like, no, please, no. I'm like frailing my arms around. I don't know. I was freaking out. And James is like, I could see he's crying. I'm crying. And I'm like, well, take me to her right now. And again, they kind of tried to tell me no. And then I started to get out of the bed because I couldn't feel my legs yet or anything. Mm-hmm. I was still like, I tried to get out of the bed. I basically stand up, even though I don't know how I did that.
It's your motherly instinct.
Yeah, like I just forgot that I had surgery. I didn't feel like I had surgery. Nothing mattered in the world. So they finally get me in a wheelchair. They're taking me down there to where she is, like the room that they're working on her in. and we get to the door, but they won't let me in because they started doing a like sterile procedure, something to do with her belly button, and nobody could be in there unless they were like scrubbed in. So I had to wait a while. So I'm calling like my mom, calling my grandma. The doctor keeps coming back and she's like, her stats are going up. It's looking better. It's looking better. Her stats are going up. So I'm like getting hopeful. I'm like, she's going to be okay. They couldn't get the helicopter there, but they were coming in by ambulance. They were on the way. Like, okay, she's going to make it. Everything will be fine. And I finally get into the room, and seeing her like that was, she's intubated. There's blood coming from her mouth, coming out of her nose. She doesn't look like she's all the way there. And I finally sit by her and I talked to her, and she turned her head and looked at me like she recognized my voice. And she held my finger for a while, and I was just talking to her the whole time. Like, it's going to be okay. We're going to go home together. Like, you got this. Keep fighting. And her stats kept dropping, and they started dropping. And then they went back up again. And I got excited, like, oh, she's going to make it. Then her stats dropped again. And then her heart rate looked fine the whole time. And then they lost her heart rate, and they started doing CPR. And I couldn't even watch anymore. Like, I had to like look away for a second. I was like, I got to get it together because I'm the one who's supposed to be strong for her. So I'm like, I look away, I come back, I'm looking at her again. They're doing everything that they can. And then they finally asked me and James, like, even if we can get her back, I don't know if she's gonna be able to actually like live a life. She might come back brain dead. We have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and James both like said almost simultaneously, like, just let her go. Like, let her go peacefully. So they started unhooking everything. They gave her to us immediately. They wrapped her up. The blood just still was coming out of her nose, like so much blood. And I kept trying to like clean her face and like wipe her face off, but the blood just kept coming. And I held her for hours. I don't even think I looked at the time. They let me keep her as long as I wanted to keep her. They took me to like my postpartum room. The hospital was very understanding. They took me to a room by like no other mothers who like have their babies. So like I wouldn't hear any babies crying. They do this thing where they like press a button after someone has a baby and it sings like a lullaby.
Yeah.
They completely unplugged that. So I didn't hear it the entire time that I was there. Because I mean that could be a little triggering.
Mm-hmm.
One of the nurses took her, gave her a bath, got her dressed in like what was supposed to be her coming home outfit. We were able to take pictures with her. We got her footprints. They made like a clay like mold and like pressed her feet into it. So I have that. They again kept asking about this autopsy, and I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. I couldn't. And now that I like look back on it, I feel like I should have done it because then I would know like exactly what happened. But the doctor who delivered her is one of the most amazing people I've ever met. Me and her have become really, really good friends now. I can call her whenever. If I just want to talk, if I'm sad, if I'm having like bad thoughts about how I want to be with her, I could always call her. And come to find out, she did a lot to figure out what happened because this didn't just affect me. This is not something that happens. This affected her, all the nurses that were there, the anesthesiologist that was there, the pediatrician that did everything that she could to save her life. And I can't imagine being a doctor and not being able to do that. So it was very hard for them too. I guess she sent my placenta in for testing to see what was going on. She took some of my cord blood, like not my cord, well, the cord,
Yeah, the umbilical cord.
The umbilical cord. She sent that in for testing. They did blood work on me. They did blood work on James to see if there was something that either of us carried genetically. She reached out to a high risk like neonatal person. I think he's a surgeon in Wilmington, North Carolina. And he looked at everything. He looked at all of my ultrasounds, my 20-week anatomy scan. There was no way anybody could have known that this was going to be the outcome. And he said, if she delivered in the most high-tech hospital with the number one best NICU in the world, or the slums of Africa, he believed that the same outcome would have happened. There was nothing anybody could have done to save her. His thought about what happened after doing all these tests and seeing all the results of what could have went wrong, he thinks that she had an AV malformation in her chest, which is like when your veins are kind of like in a bird's nest, if that makes sense. And she wasn't bleeding from her nose and her mouth until they intubated her. And they think that when they intubated her, they ruptured that AV malformation, which caused internal bleeding, then the blood loss through her mouth and her nose, and all that also caused a blockage to her lungs, because even when they intubated her, she still wasn't getting enough oxygen. So that's when there was a lot of doctors involved in trying to figure out what happened, because I refused said autopsy. And
as doctors trying to practice medicine, so that, I mean, so that
I don't
they
think
don't.
it was like that. I think they had to know.
Yeah.
In their
Yeah,
mind.
like
Yeah.
you did everything that you could. They wanted to make sure that
And
they
when
did
I spoke
everything
to
they
the
could.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when I spoke to the doctor again, she's like, it was almost like I was her lifeline. The moment that she cut the umbilical cord, it's like the baby kind of went limp. Like,
Mhm.
like when you like press a baby's hand, how they like kind of resist and like keep their arm up, all of her limbs just kind of like were nothing anymore. And when she got her out, she wasn't crying enough. She knew that there was meconium in her lungs. That's why James didn't get to cut. They were moving fast. James didn't get to cut the umbilical cord. They were trying to get the meconium out. They were trying to get her to breathe better, because she only let out like this small cry. And then I don't know if she cried more, because again, I fell asleep. But James knew right away that this was not how this was supposed to look. And so, I mean, I think that could have been the cause, if all these doctors are saying, because it wasn't like, as a doctor wanted to know, she wanted to know, she just wanted to know what happened.
Mhm.
This does not happen. You don't have a perfectly normal, healthy pregnancy. I labored perfectly fine. Everything should have been fine. And I talked to her again, and even the nurses, like, some of them had to take like time off because it was a horribly traumatic thing to witness. And they came back, and it was almost the exact same surgical team going in, same nurses. Everybody was the same except for the anesthesiologist, who had just done my C-section. And the nurse, again, like, had a breakdown. Like, how come she has this perfectly healthy baby, but this happened? How? How did it happen? And we found out that it was nothing genetic that me and James carry. There's nothing that should stop us from having completely healthy children that can stay on earth with us. Knowing this outcome, I would do all of it over again, because I have probably the best guardian angel you could ever ask for. She, even the doctors, her daughter said, I bet her daughter's up there making a baby for her to stay here on earth with her.
Oh, I just got chills.
And I mean, if a young child can think that. And there was another incident where I swear Adelaide is her name, where she like saved me. I was driving home from work, and anytime I see a yellow butterfly, I always think of her. And I see this yellow butterfly fly past the windshield. I'm like, oh, hi, Adelaide. I literally said it out loud. Seconds later, a semi hits 3 cars behind me. And it was so loud. It was like I've never heard a car accident that loud. I get out of the car because I'm like, oh my God, I had to have gotten hit. I was literally like a half an inch away from getting hit. And it was seconds after I said hi to Adelaide. It like,
Wow.
I got chills again. Like my whole body is like going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like,
I never
that's
really like
crazy.
looked at it that way. I've never really gone to church. I never really grew up
Mhm.
that way. But I do think that she's there, and I do think that she's protecting James and I and our family. And I do think that, one day that she will handpick a baby from heaven and give us give us another baby and give herself siblings to be able to protect too. So, I mean, it's not an easy thing to go through as a newly married couple. We weren't newly together, but we were newly married. And this is, I mean, I feel like no matter what time, like you, how far along you are in your marriage, this is something that will absolutely like, it flipped our whole worlds upside down. We didn't even know, I didn't know how to function. Like, where did I go next? What was my purpose anymore? I thought my purpose was to be her mother. And now I'm a mother that can't mother. It feels so weird. And to this day, it feels weird. Like, grief is a sneaky little bitch.
Mhm.
A sound, a smell, something, and then all of a sudden you're full blown tears and you're like, oh, I thought I was better now. But losing a child, I don't think is something that you really heal from. And weird enough, I don't want to let go of the grief that I have because the grief's the only thing that I have left of her. All I can do is grieve. So why would I let go of it? Instead, I feel like I want to overpower it and understand that grief can be a good thing. Grief doesn't have to be this negative, like scary, sad thing. Every time that I talk about Adelaide, it doesn't have to be a sad topic. We can talk about how she loved McChickens, and every time that I would take a warm bath, that she would start doing cartwheels, and it would look like she'd be trying to escape into the out from like the inside. Like looking back on those videos, looking at her pictures, it doesn't have to be sad. I can look at this beautiful baby that I made. My body did that.
She was very active in the womb.
I know. I would send Haylee videos all the time. I'm like, she's trying to come into the out. And
I
Haley's
was
like,
like-
not yet.
I was like, that is scary.
Yeah. Haley's like, can you send more? I don't like it, but I love it.
Yeah.
She's like, it's kind of crazy, but like awesome. And so things like that, like talking about her now. Yes, it's sad and I miss her. And this is not what my life was supposed to be like. I shouldn't be here right now. I should have a baby like that I'm taking care of. I should be planning what I'm going to do for her first birthday. But instead, I'm planning more of a memorial for her first birthday. Like, just 3.5 hours wasn't long enough. If I know it's not an easy thing, but James has been my rock. He saved my life, honestly. He is one of the few reasons that like I decided that like I'm not going to go to her because he needs me. He can't lose his daughter and his wife. Just like he's the other half of her for me, I'm the other half of her for him. So, I mean, him being gone right now is definitely harder than it has been in the past because of what we went through. I usually like am not as emotional, but I haven't been without him since she passed. I haven't slept in a bed without him since she passed away. Like, he went in the house and made sure that there was nothing in the house that was going to trigger me before I walked in. He took care of me. He would help me get off the couch. Having a C-section, healing from that is awful. It was so painful. I could barely walk. I couldn't lay down flat. He did everything. He would wake up, make sure that I'm okay. He did everything. Like, I don't think if James wouldn't have remained as strong as he was, that I would have been able to survive this. But thank God for him. And I know one day he will be an amazing father to our children on earth.
Ooh, that got me in the feels.
I know, my throat hurts so much
Why does your throat hurt?
because I've been holding back tears.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're going to take a real quick break so we can collect ourselves, but we're going to get right back.
Yes, I did.
A
Okay.
little bit. Just some water got in.
All
Just
right.
a little bit.
So we collected ourselves, had a couple of tears, gave some hugs, kisses, all that stuff. That was great. I mean, the fact that you could tell that story, that was impactful. And if somebody listens to that and has gone through that, I just hope that they can look at your story and, keep going the way that you have and find strength from your story. And that's what I want from this podcast, is to impact people and either motivate people to keep moving forward in life, or to hear funny stories and just be relatable,
Right.
because like we were talking about during the break, is I interview real ordinary people. I don't have celebrities,
Right.
And most celebrities, like Haley even was like, yeah, some seem fake, and
yeah, and like people in general, they put up like a, what's it called, like
Facade.
a facade.
Like a front. Yeah.
Yes, and like this podcast, I think you're trying to like really get to know people.
Yeah. You're like
And-
breaking down walls,
and
Yeah.
show humanity. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Because you look
which
at
is what makes it so relatable.
absolutely. So, but we're gonna turn into a lighter point.
Yeah,
So,
speaking about relatable,
yeah, talk to us.
parking situations. We both hate going to new locations because we have to worry about parking. So like literally every single time.
Like coming here for the first time, I was
Yes.
like, "Where do I park?
Yes.
Where do I go?" But thank God I saw Melanie's
Mhm.
Jeep, and I was like, "I'm just gonna park next to Melanie. Everything's okay."
Yeah, literally anytime I go anywhere new, I either make sure I have someone with me in the car so they can help me park, or I Google it and I zoom in and I'm like, where's the parking? And if it's like street parking, like don't even get me started. Like
Oh, I can't
Like in
parallel
Detroit?
parking gives me anxiety because people
Oh.
are behind you
I
waiting.
see, the thing is I love parallel parking. That's not the thing. The thing is the fucking paying machines.
Oh, and you think you're paying at the
Oh.
wrong one?
Yeah,
Well,
the
no, it's
meters.
just I don't know, just they stress me out.
the
I
meters,
feel like
right?
yeah. I feel like they're way more complicated than they actually are. Like they're not complicated, but for some reason they
I
just
make them
stress me out.
complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be this really easy thing. Just
Another-
give them your money.
yeah.
But I'm like, am I
It
doing this
just-
right? Am I in the what number parking spot? Oh my God, is this the right
Mhm.
one? Oh, I'm gonna get a parking ticket. I gotta go check on the car in 20 minutes
Like
to make
so
sure
much
it's okay.
so that sometimes like there's one by my work and I park and I just run into Starbucks real quick and just hope that I don't get a ticket because I just don't want to deal with having to pay.
Right.
It's bad. But another thing that stresses me out is car washes. So
How can you get? I mean, usually
The car
young
wash
kids,
stresses me out too. I
Young-
never know when to put it in neutral.
Oh, they tell you.
that was the thing. No.
They don't.
I went through. It was okay. So the first time I went through, they walked me through it. They said, put it in neutral. I said, okay, good to go. The second time, because the first time it went smoothly. It went smoothly, but I was still hesitant to go again. So I waited like a whole year before I went again. And then
I like to make James go. I'm like, can you take the
Yes.
car to the car wash? I'm scared.
and
What
the
are you
second
scared
time,
of?
the
The car
second time,
wash.
the guy didn't say put it in neutral. So I just drove in that bitch.
Same. I've done that. And then they yelled at me. They're like, put it in neutral.
Yes.
I was like,
So
oops, sorry.
It sounded like it was tearing my car apart. Like it's like the guy is like freaking out. He's like, roll down your windows. I rolled down my window a little bit, but at that point I'm already dragged in there. Water's coming in. He's like, he's like, you have to put it in neutral. And so I put it in neutral and then we're good. And then I roll up the window, but it's like already too late. Like I'm soaked inside and I go through the car wash, like just debating life at that point.
Honestly, I understand.
And I haven't gone back since. I have not gone back since. And I keep on telling Thomas, like, let's get a car wash. Like whenever he's driving my car. So I
Makes
don't have to
sense.
deal with it. But
Can't you, or don't you do like the normal like hose and dish soap kind of thing?
You're not
For a
supposed to
car
put
wash.
dish soap on your car. I don't
no,
think.
I actually, last summer, I bought all the supplies.
Won't it leave it like screechy or like
I
not
don't-
screechy,
I
but
don't
like
know.
wont it leave like
Well, I know
a
you're supposed to like
That's
use
just
certain
soap
like
film?
cloths or something
I
so you
mean,
don't scratch up your car.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kid, washing my parents'
Yeah,
cars
we did
during
as
the
kids all
summer.
the time. That was fun.
Yeah, we
See, why
used
don't you just
old
do
rags.
that, Haley?
Yeah.
Like I was saying, we went to the store, bought all the supplies, the bucket, the sponges, the soaps, everything. And then I never got around to it.
You're like, sorry, I was planting my avocado trees and the squirrels ate it. We were at war.
Yeah, I got a little distracted.
I was distracted.
And then, so like this summer, I was like, I really want to do it, but I want to do it in the rain. Like
Make that make sense.
Yeah, make
please,
that make
because
sense.
you're not supposed.
That would be
How
such
does
a
that make
moment.
sense?
Like, are you serious? And then like
a Taylor Swift moment.
yeah, but then like
Maybe
you literally don't have to worry about like rinsing off the car. You can just scrub it, and as you're scrubbing it, it's gonna rinse away.
It's gonna rinse away, but it's still gonna leave spots on it when the rain dries.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why would it leave spots?
How are
Because
you
the
gonna
rain,
dry
you don't
it?
dry it.
Okay, but when your car is outside and it rains,
Uh.
do you come back and it's a bunch of polka dots?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm trying to think.
It leaves like little
don't.
watermarks all over it.
On the hood and stuff, there are watermarks.
But
I
at
know
least,
that.
okay, well, it's not like my car is going to hide from the rain the rest of its life. Like, it gets rained on all the time.
Yes, but cleaning it in the rain defeats the purpose of cleaning it.
I don't care if it has polka dots.
Don't you want it to be shiny?
We also have to look at it like this. Haley is going to be in her like.
All Haley
I
wants to
just
do is
need-
wash the car butt naked in the rain.
I need an excuse to be outside in the rain,
Naked.
next to the puddles.
Yeah, next to the puddles. You forgot the puddles here.
Yes.
I understand.
She's
Haley would use the puddle water to wash
And
the
like,
car.
if you're
She's
just like outside in the rain, people are like, you're a weirdo. But if you're outside washing your car, at least they think you're doing something.
No, they would think that you're stupid at that point. They'd be like, what is this dumbass doing?
And at least, like, say my car has
But-
polka dots. At least it would be clean with some polka dots. It's better than just letting it sit for. It's been like maybe 2 years since I washed it.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say, if you want to wash my car in the rain, you are more than welcome to.
I still have to wash my car first. I keep I keep a little vacuum actually in my car.
I know.
Today.
It was right by my feet.
To-
It's like those TikToks when you're like getting into
Yes.
your friend's car. You like, gotta move all the shit out of the
I've
out of
seen
your
that.
feet.
She had to move the
I've seen
vacuum.
the vacuum.
And it's not even like a car vacuum.
No,
it's
it's
my
like a whole
it's my
ass
vacuum for my house, but I keep it in there in the driver in the passenger side to like inspire me.
Yeah.
To
clean
vacuum the
car,
floor. And so
then
far,
people just step on it. Got it.
yep. And so far, I took care of the whole back of the car. It's just the front that I haven't cleaned yet.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
You know what I just thought of?
Hmm.
I remember you requested to do the podcast on my couch.
I did.
I totally forgot.
I wanted a comfy podcast, and what do I get? A
Have you
stiff
thought
ass
about-
chair.
I am so
Right?
sorry.
Right?
Listen, I totally forgot. I'm so sorry.
I
Hopefully,
figured since there was like 3 of us now, that's why you did it on
I
the
feel like
table.
we
kind
could
of.
fit.
Yeah.
Have you thought about like live streaming it at all?
That's what I told him. Make it
Like,
little
why don't-
TikToks.
Kind
Yeah,
of.
Like,
Kind
okay,
of.
I would have had to put myself a little bit more together.
And
But-
that's the thing. And that's another thing
He does
too.
take a picture of you and post it.
I do.
Absolutely not.
I have to.
Yeah, keep laughing, Haley. I'm not taking a
No,
picture.
I mean,
You catch me outside.
what was
Where
it?
Matt left us for 20 minutes waiting to get inside.
Okay.
Yeah, he
that-
was expecting us over,
yeah.
and then
Didn't
doesn't answer the door. And he's in an apartment, right? So he has those like little ringers.
The little buttons.
So after like how much was it? Like
I think we were standing out there. You called him like 3 times. You texted
let me
him.
let me see what time I said that.
So,
I feel like we
in
were
my
standing out there for
defense-
10 minutes, and then me and Haley were both like, "Fuck
Yeah,
it,
it
we're
probably
pressing all
wasn't-
the buttons."
It probably wasn't actually
all the
10
neighbors
minutes.
came out to open the door.
Yeah, I was like so
they-
sorry, but
they
Matt
li-
left me out
I
there.
opened up my door and all my neighbors are looking at me. I'm like, oh hell no. I'm like, they did not just ring all of the doors.
But what was taking you so long?
I was in the kitchen making tea.
There were mosquitoes out there, Matt. You know
Was
I don't
there
like
really?
mosquitoes.
Yes, there was mosquitoes.
Oh, I feel so bad.
Oh, do you feel bad now?
Well, I
We're
felt
just standing out there
No,
with our
listen,
hands full like
listen,
a hobo.
I
like,
felt
let me in.
I felt bad at the time as well, and I was just like, because I thought it was gonna be a while because you were at KFC getting your famous bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and I had just put the phone down on the couch, just waiting for you guys. And I was like, you know what, I want to make some tea, to
How
make
long
my
did it
voice
make
not sound
you-
scratchy
How
or
long did it
whatever.
take you to make tea?
Not very
'Cause-
long, because I had gotten down the tea bag. Then I got out the container of sugar, put 2 spoons of sugar in and honey, and I was stirring it up. And then you rang my doorbell, and I was like, "Oh, they're here!" So I walk
What
outside.
number is yours, by the way?
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't post what number it is, but we should know for the future.
Yeah.
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 I should do that.
Because then we won't have to press all of them ever
Mhm.
again.
Yeah.
And we will.
I totally forgot to give you
Yeah.
the apartment number.
Yep.
Yeah, you sent us the address. Like, that was helpful. Like, okay. And now what?
See, yeah. I didn't time that well because, again,
I was like, Haley, didn't
Yeah.
you send your address? She said, yeah, he sent me not shit. Look at this. This tells me nothing.
my fault. My
It
fault.
was.
My bad.
Your fault.
My bad.
About
But-
to start throwing pebbles at your window.
Oh, please don't.
We did know which window was yours. We just didn't know which number apartment it was.
That makes sense. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, if I had the screen door open, you could have automatically just hollered.
Well, Haley did try. She's like, Matt. Matt.
Meanwhile, I'm watching.
You gotta say it in the right voice. You sounded like a cat.
How did you do that?
Oh, let me see. I was like, Matt.
Yes, that's how she said it.
Yeah, no, I had King of Queens on, and
Very loud, by the way.
I don't know why. I think it's because like when I'm away, like in the bathroom or like.
You need to hear your show while you're taking a shit.
Oh yeah.
Haley's like, yeah, same.
I mean, I just take my phone with
Right?
me.
Yeah.
You know, your mom used to yell at me all the time about doing that when I was at your house. She's like,
Mhm.
you're gonna get germs all over your phone.
Oh my god. I thought I caught something because I accidentally dropped my phone in some food. And I was like, I can't waste this. And so I licked my phone and I was like,
Ew.
and I regretted it
No.
right after. I'm like, oh my god, there's so many germs on that fucking thing.
Yeah. I literally just Cloroxed my phone today. Like, I use a Clorox wipe.
I clean mine with watered down white vinegar.
Oh.
That's what I mop my floors with, by the way. And it
Mhm.
helps keep the ants away. In
Mhm.
case
Oh,
anybody
yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, vinegar, yeah.
Even though it makes your house kind of smell.
Well, you can add
Like-
essential oils.
But then wouldn't it leave it like oily? My floors?
No,
I almost forgot it. So
you got to
a co-
make sure it's pet friendly. All right,
I
continue.
totally forgot.
Yes, Mom.
You're
Mhm.
really into yoga, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my coworker goes, "Hey, I got something for you." I was like, "What is
Yoga?
it?" He goes, "Have you ever heard of laughing yoga?"
I have not.
So he showed me this, and I thought it was the most hilarious thing.
Is this like another dad joke?
No, I swear to God, it's not a dad joke.
This is real life, Haley.
Yeah, this is something I found out just
Like,
as
wow.
of recently. And he goes, "This is laughing yoga." I'm like, "This is perfect," because I'm interviewing like my friend Haley, who is like all into yoga and that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and it's absolutely hilarious. So here's a little video. It's laughing yoga original by Yogi Yamash Padney.
You definitely
Nailed
murdered that
it.
name.
You can laugh without laughing yoga, laughing exercise for the heart and mind. What you can do, just laugh. Very easy. Don't feel shy.
Who laughs like that?
And I am happy, I am relaxed. I am happy, I am relaxed. I am happy, I am relaxed. Boo, boo, boo,
Get
boo,
it.
boo, boo. You can laugh without sound. Your lungs,
Without
heart,
sound.
kidney, colon, spleen, pancreas.
He was definitely using
will
sound.
start dancing. How?
Oh, you're doing the yeah the
You sound
Now
like
you
you just
can
took
do
your
full
last.
laughter. Inhale, exhale. And I am happy, I am relaxed.
That's
I am
happy?
I am relaxed. I am
I guess
happy,
so.
I am relaxed. Boo, 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 boo,
I get what he's trying to do.
boo.
So
Now-
what exactly do you think he's trying to do?
Because if you like laugh and you like smile at yourself, like in the mirror especially, like you trick your mindset. Like you can rewire your brain to
Yeah.
feel happy.
Yeah.
Even if you're not, if you just like every day say like positive stuff, you can rewire your brain. So I get what he's trying to do. Like if you laugh, you automatically like get that dopamine boost.
Yeah.
But his laugh A little bit questionable.
That was a little obnoxious.
It's
A little
seemed a
bit of
little
like
fake.
yep,
Like he
definitely
was
fake,
trying too hard.
but definitely like a mental breakdown.
Have you
like,
heard about
I was about
goat
to say, like,
yoga?
are you okay?
Goat yoga?
Yeah, you
goat
go
yoga.
to yoga with
goat.
goats.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
And then there's
Like
also
real live goats.
hot
Like,
yoga. I really love hot yoga. But then there's also paddleboard yoga, is what I
no.
believe it is.
I'd
And I would
fall off.
love to try that because that's like the ultimate challenge, like balance wise. So me and my friends are
I
gonna
would
try
Oh,
that.
going on like an actual paddleboard.
Yes, and then doing
Oh.
yoga poses. So we're gonna try that next summer. We wanted to do it this summer, but we never got around to it. So
Interesting.
mhm.
That's interesting. Yeah. No, I thought that was hilarious. And I was like, I got to show Haley this. This is hilarious.
It was actually recommended to me from my therapist to try yoga.
Mhm.
And I got too nervous because my grandma, back when I was like young, I was like 9, 10 maybe, we were in like a dance class, me and my 2 friends. And her mom and my grandma were in a yoga class together. And you know how they play like the nice calming like music and it's all quiet?
Yeah.
This lady
She
ripped
farted?
ass.
Oh no.
And it's just like me and Haley. If something like that happens and we make eye contact,
hmm
we're done. Like we are laughing. So my grandma and her friend make eye contact and they were busted out laughing. That poor lady was probably so embarrassed. But now I'm afraid, like, what if I'm the one that rips ass in the yoga class?
Then you
Honestly, I
get-
wouldn't care, but if it was hot yoga, I would kind of feel bad.
Why?
Because it would smell like
Yeah.
dank.
Just be
Mhm.
hot ass.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hot, sweaty
Mhm.
ass.
Ew.
Yeah. No, but if you did fart in actual yoga and then you guys like looked at each other, you guys would then be practicing laughing yoga.
Yeah.
For sure. You don't put me and Haley in like an uncomfortable position and expect us to be able to hold it together.
Mhm.
We're not big criers. We'll just laugh it out. We'll be like, "Oh, this is not supposed to be funny."
Well, I'll
but-
laugh and cry.
Well, yeah, because every time you laugh, you cry.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing that you do is like you laugh and cry at the same time.
Yeah.
My sister laughs and she snorts.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen her do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm laughing so hard, I will snort. But
You've never like laughed and cried before? I don't know if
I
it's
laugh
like
and cry.
oh, I've
But
laughed
not all.
No,
Not
I've-
every time I laugh.
like
If I let out a little laugh,
Yeah.
like I'm not crying. But if I'm like my abs hurt,
I feel like it's like when people
Yeah.
are telling like jokes like about me or like then I don't know, maybe it's because they're looking at me. I'm like
You remember when Rob looked at me and was like, "You were like not funny at all." I was like, "Oh,
Ooh.
wow,
Yeah.
thanks, Rob."
Rob is like the
Yes.
roast master.
Yeah, and then I was like,
Rob
what?
thinks I'm funny.
Ugh.
No, but if I'm laughing so
If you're
hard,
hearing this, Rob, I'm still mad.
Yep. Big mad.
yeah. But I will cry when I laugh if I'm laughing so hard.
Okay, I have a question. What movie makes you cry every time you watch it?
Rudy and
I don't rewatch movies.
Rudy.
I don't even. Is that
Who's
does the
Rudy?
dog die?
No,
What's that about?
What to do?
it's a football movie, and pretty much this guy said when he was a kid, he's like, after high school, I'm gonna go to Notre Dame, and all of his family is like, yeah, right, because Notre Dame's an expensive college. I went to Notre Dame a couple weekends back, and the campus is just breathtaking,
Mhm.
like gorgeous, right? Find out that the tuition is $62,000 a year
Wow.
Mhm.
or a semester. I can't quite remember, but I think
Might
it's a
need to
year.
start selling feet pics to afford that one.
right. So his family is like, yeah, right. And of course he has like learning disability. He can't keep focused and everything like that. And so he ends up working in the steel mill, and his friend dies in the steel mill, and his friend always believed in him that he would go to Notre Dame. And so he doesn't get a scholarship or anything like that. So he's got to go to Holy Cross and kind of work up his grades and go to like a community college and work up his grades. And then he ends up going to Notre Dame, and then he goes on to the practice squad, getting the absolute shit kicked out of him. And then
Is it based on a true story?
oh yeah, Yeah, it's based on a true story. 1975, I believe is. But anyway, long story short, he gets to go in for one play, and he makes a tackle and ends the game, and all of his teammates pick him up and carry him off the field, and that's the first time ever in Notre Dame history that a player has been carried off the field. Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, when they're hollering out 45, 45, that's Rudy. And like there was another scene where the dad looks at the whole stadium and goes, this is the most beautiful sight these eyes have ever seen. Like there's that. And then also when he gets carried off and gets, hoisted up and, is like, yeah, in victory, it just gets me in the feels. And just because one, I became a Notre Dame fan when I was 5, and actually going to Notre Dame, like I turned to my dad and I'm like just soaking it all in, and I got all teary eyed, and I turned to my dad, I go, this is the most beautiful sight these eyes have ever seen. And my dad just looked at me and he cracked
That was cringe.
Yeah, no, but he cracked a smile and he knew what I was talking about. And but I mean, Rudy gets me in the feels. And then it's not a certain movie, but it's a quote from a movie. It's the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows quote from Rocky. I have it tattooed on my ribs, and I also have it
Yeah,
on the
didn't you
wall.
say that earlier in the podcast? Or was that on one of our breaks? I feel like you said that quote.
Oh, I've said it like multiple times, like even on and off the podcast. Like that's one of my favorite quotes. But every time I hear it, it gets me energized, emotional, and everything like that, because it makes me look back at like the stuff that I've gone through, and it just makes me just everything all crashes in at once, and it's like it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit in life and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward, because life's going to throw some punches at you to where it's going to put you down to your knees. But if you keep letting life hit you down and keeping you at your knees, like, and you just say, yep, keep punching. Like, I'm not going to move. Like, I can't move forward. It's going to bury you, so you got to keep moving forward. So, but that also gets me in the feels too. But yeah, I mean, I'm such a guy when it's like, what movie always brings you to tears? It's Rudy. I don't know
If the
why.
dog dies in the movie, I'm not watching it.
Yeah,
like
I haven't seen that.
I can't. Marley and me just messed me up. Sorry, but if the dog dies in the movie, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I do not want to see it. I don't.
What about you, Haley?
What about?
Is there a movie that's like?
No, I don't like to rewatch movies.
Did Marley and Me make you cry?
I believe it did.
How could
I don't
it not?
quite remember.
So
It probably
sad.
did, honestly. But just movies overall, like once I've seen it, like
I don't rewatch movies either.
Well,
I rewatch shows, like
is
TV
there-
shows.
I mean,
I don't like rewatching shows either.
Is there a movie that you've like seen and then it automatically just made you get all emotional when you watched it the first time?
Holes was pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, we watched that in high school.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
that was a good one.
Is that a Disney movie?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a Disney movie.
Doesn't it have like the dude from Transformers in it too, like the original?
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf's in it. I mean, it's great. It's a great movie, and I from what I heard, it's a book.
That's a lie. I do rewatch movies. Only movies that I haven't seen in a long time. Like I haven't seen Transformers since Transformers came out. Just like this year, I rewatched all the Transformers movies because I was like, I don't even remember like really what happened, and then I rewatched them.
Yeah, I rewatch movies like if I haven't seen them in a long time, but also if they're like my favorites.
I don't know if I can tell you a favorite movie.
I can't either, but just because I can't remember any of the names.
I can definitely tell you right now, those two right there on my wall.
Goodfellas, I've never seen either.
Goodfellas, I will watch over and over and over again.
What is Goodfellas even? I don't even.
It's a mob movie.
Don't get them started.
Don't get them started.
Girl, don't you get me started now.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
no, it's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I can't tell you a favorite movie.
Martin Scorsese,
Mm-hmm.
one of my all-time favorite directors. He's directed some of my all-time favorite movies. I mean, he directed Wolf of Wall Street.
I have seen that movie.
Yeah, he directed that, and it's fantastic.
I just don't know if I would say that. I guess it was a good movie,
He's just
but
an
I'm
all.
not gonna say like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that movie was amazing.
Yeah.
I can't think of a movie where I was like, wow, that movie was really good. I love Marvel movies. I feel like Marvel really never disappoints.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some really great movies, like the newest Spider-Man, bringing them all back. The like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the when you do something, the nostalgia,
Nostalgia
of it all was amazing.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, but I can't tell you a favorite Marvel movie either. There's too many good ones.
Yeah.
I hate DC movies.
One that I really was a fan of is, I think it's called like The Room.
Oh, don't talk about that one. Oh,
I
God.
love that one, and I think it like won like an award or something.
It did.
A
I read that
Razzie.
book actually.
Yes.
Wait, the room, as in like the bad one?
I don't think there's.
What do you mean by
The Room.
bad? Like she was abducted, and then she was impregnated by her abductor.
Never mind. I'm thinking of a
She
different
had
one.
a kid.
Yep,
Never
and
mind.
then the kid was the one who saved them. Oh my God.
Yeah. That one was one of the best movies I've ever seen.
I did.
Did you ever see the one
That's
with
not the one
the?
I'm thinking
Oh
of.
gosh, I think you're the one who told me to watch it. It was about another little girl, and like the neighbor guy, the creepy guy, like abducted her.
Oh yeah,
And he
the
took her-
Lovely Bones.
Yep, you're the one who made me watch that one. That
one
movie
was really good.
That
I
one made
actually
you cry,
did
I'm
try
sure.
to rewatch that one, but it just
It's a
wasn't the
sad
same.
one.
Let's see. The Pianist was good.
Never seen that.
It's a World War II. It's about this Jewish piano player, and he has to survive and hide out and stuff like that. And he plays for like Nazis and stuff like that. And he plays piano, and pretty much has to survive off of being a good piano player. And he it's like he's playing for his life. Pretty much. It's a great film, but I mean, if I look back, right?
You've seen a lot of movies that I have not seen.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. I'm going to tell you how many I've seen so far.
LOL, we said we were going to wrap this up.
I know.
This is our wrap up.
Yeah. So,
and yeah.
As of right now, I've watched 942 films.
Why do you keep count?
It's just fascinating to me.
When did you start keeping count?
A few months back, my brother showed me this app that you can track different movies that you watch.
And then you just like click, oh yeah, I've seen it. Oh.
Yeah, and if I've seen bits and pieces, I won't count it.
That doesn't count, obviously.
Yeah, I have to watch it from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I just recently, do you read it all?
mainly biopics and stuff like that.
I just recently, after Adelaide passed, I was like, I need something to do. And Haley knows this. I never could read a book cover to cover. They never interested me, especially the ones that they told us to read in high school. I'm like, I don't want to read that. I don't have to if I don't want to. Spark note in that bitch.
Yeah.
And I've read since March 9 books.
Nice.
Cover to cover. I was like, wow,
Atta
look
girl.
at me go.
Look at you go.
Because before, like, some people would talk about when they read a book how it's like a movie plays out in their head.
Yeah.
And I never had that. I never could like see it while I'm reading it.
Yeah.
And Colleen Hoover blew up on Book Talk, and so I read It Starts With Us, or It Ends With Us. One of the two. I don't remember which one came first. I'm having a brain fart. And it happened. It was like a whole movie played out in my head. Finished the book in 2 days.
Wow.
I went and bought the next one. James bought me 3 books for my birthday. I finished them all in a month. He's like, I can't keep up. But it's been so awesome for me.
That's
I've
great.
never been one to read a book, and I'm like, who even am I?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a whole new woman.
That's so awesome that you're doing this and you're reading and everything. But figure we wrap it up now before we
keep going.
But ladies, thank you so much. I very much appreciate you guys coming on the podcast, sharing your stories, sharing your memories, and just all around. We had laughs, we had cries, like we had highs and lows, and this was just a roller coaster of an episode.
It really was.
I think this will be an absolute amazing episode for everybody to listen to, women, men, anything like that, and just kind of relate to in any sort of situation. But thank you guys again. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.